What's up, everybody? Welcome to the GameOverGreggy show. I am one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the producer/seducer, Nick Scarpino.
Hey, guys.
How you doing?
Good.
Glad to see you put on a collared shirt. None of this t-shirt garbage
I did.
today.
Tim always wears a collared shirt, so I always have to be like.
You guys are the anchors.
I got to match.
Yeah,
we got to
foil
bookend it
to them.
Yeah.
The foil to them.
We are
Us.
the Wonder Bread to their bologna sandwich. You guys are the bologna.
Oh.
We
You're
are
the
the
mortadella.
party.
Greg's certainly the baloney.
Yeah, well, over here. This is
the mayonnaise.
This is the pride of Long Island, Colin Moriarty. Now,
Go Islanders.
Here's what I want to point out, Go Islanders, is the fact that it's been this is week 3 now of Team Fatgate, where we're arguing about who's Team Fat, who's not Team Fat anymore. You are wearing a T-shirt I haven't seen you wear in, I will say, at least a year and a half.
I got the shirt in college.
So I'd like to say you are slimming down. You are quitting Team Fat. It's the elliptical and exercise are
Shots
finally paying off.
fired.
But when we went to Burger King today, I got a Whopper and a chicken sandwich.
Yeah,
And
You got both?
You got 2 cheeseburgers and like a chicken tender.
buffalo chicken tenders.
A chicken tender.
Let me tell you the surprising thing out of that meal. I haven't had Burger King in years. You guys are always
You found an ear in your
you guys
burger.
are all yakking about it, how much you
Yeah.
like it, and well, I'll eat it with you. And the service was terrible.
Oh,
They
it
were out of
fucking-
the-
it was
a
disaster.
fucking abysmal.
The
My
homeless
God.
lady begging me for fries wasn't great either.
Yeah.
I gave
You were
it to
nice,
her,
though.
That's
Yeah,
what
that
you
was
gotta
good.
do. You
That
pay it
was good.
forward. One day I'm gonna be begging for fries. Circle of life and all
That's what we do on Patreon.
That place was more like the Burger Jester.
that. The burger dresser.
Burger Jester.
Oh,
Not the Burger King.
I liked it to be the burger,
The burger
dresser,
dresser.
better. You pull out the drawer and it's just full of burgers.
I mean,
They
damn.
never go bad.
See, that's fast food that would actually... Because this was the opposite of fast food.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
really
they were
was.
super slow and they didn't know what they were doing.
They
Colin did the normal Colin thing where he heckled them, and then I tried to be nice.
I
when
didn't
got
heckle
there.
them. I didn't listen.
want my
I don't
food
just go
spit
into.
in.
I worked. I went in college. I worked at in
deli.
high school. I worked at a deli, and I know what it's like to work behind a counter and serve people and stuff. And I respect that job. If you're doing good, I'm gonna treat you with respect. But
Yeah.
act like you give a damn. You know, like act like you're there working and like
Yeah,
you.
she-
like she was fucking rude as shit. And I'm gonna
She
be
set
rude
the
back. You know me.
stage.
You know
I
me.
ordered a large combo. And this all started with her looking over at me being like, hey, we're out of large cups.
No, time out. How it happened is you ordered a large combo from the manager. He checked you out and took your money. You stepped to the side. He checked out Nick. He disappeared to take care of the drive-thru. That's when the line stopped. All hell broke loose. Kevin cried.
Yeah.
In that transaction, the woman and her friend who was
Coworker.
he left. He said some things that were stupid. I wasn't privy to this conversation. He leaves, and then she goes to fill the order and is like, "We're out of large cups. Is this a big deal?" And you're like, "Yes."
That's not what happened.
And then you stared at each
No,
other for
you
a
did.
second.
You did the classic Tim Gettys nice
By the way,
guy
this is the
mean
pure
guy
one, Tim
thing.
Gettys.
Yes.
Hey, Tim.
Hello.
You did the thing where you were like, you sort of had this way of reacting to things where if there's someone there that you know, you sort of shake your head and then look at that person like, should I be having to deal with this situation right now?
Exactly.
And I was that person, and I reacted negatively. I shook my head with the response of, visually, this is all happening between our eyes. Like,
Yeah.
no, you should not have to deal with this situation. We are at a Burger King. There should be an extra large beverage that she should give us. Like, you shouldn't have to take the lower beverage and be paid for the higher beverage.
Yeah.
Right?
Now,
but there
here's
was
the thing,
nothing
though.
bigger. So they should have given you 2 mediums, what they should have done. Just double fist.
what I was
medium
saying.
and a
Whatever
small.
that is, I'm okay with
Greg
that.
said
It's
2
like-
smalls, but that doesn't equal a large.
Yeah, no. If she was
medium
cool
is-
about
I
it,
wanna see her
I
head
would have been
explode.
cool. But she wasn't cool.
Yeah, she was-
If she
yeah.
started saying, hey, sorry, we're out of large cups, I would have been like, whatever. I wouldn't say anything. But she's just like, we're out of large cups.
You're getting surly in your old age.
Yeah, but that's good. I like this Tim because Tim's not going to be fucking pushed over or tread on
Yeah.
by anyone.
No,
And
don't tread on me at Burger King is
And-
Tim's motto.
But that's the thing. She was super rude because after this, you forget that this was just the fucking tip of the iceberg. Because at this point, she then just let us stand at the counter for literally 5 minutes without
before
anyone
that even
ordering
happened,
anything.
though. Before that, she
We're
then
bitching about Burger King right now.
she-
Everyone
gives me-
tweet at Burger King, link him to this, let him know.
Yeah.
I've
She
had it
gives me my
gone in
cup.
years and I won't go again for years.
we will though. We'll be back. Maybe not that
I
one.
probably
Yeah,
will.
I'll go back.
We'll probably be back next week.
But anyway, she gives me my drink,
This
and
is two-
I
three
was
weeks
at
in a
that
row.
point very nice. I was like, "Thank you so much." I said I was extra nice just because I didn't want to spit in my food. Then she gives me my food on a damn platter, and I'm like, "Oh, it's to go," because I paid the goddamn 10
Yeah,
cents.
by the way, for those of you
the
that
bag.
don't live in California or specifically in San Francisco, we have to pay for bags in San Francisco. 10 cents.
Which is infuriating. But what's even more
fucking
infuriating
bullshit.
is when you're at a fast food place and they ask you if you want a
If
bag.
you want a bag. I was at
know
Taco
what?
Bell. I was at
Just
Taco
give
Bell
me-
the other night.
Just charge me the 10 cents.
Yeah.
Yes, I want that. I'm not going to walk out with fries and a burger and a drink. That makes no sense.
I'm tempted to do that, though, because when I go to Taco Bell, I order way too much. I mean, there are those people tweet at me their orders, and I'm like, it's cute. What you
Take
think
photos of
you
your
get.
Taco Bell orders. Tweet at
Tweet
Taco
him at-
Bell and Nick
and
_ Scarpino.
And I'll tell you if it's
And
a
Nick
man photo or
Scarpino with
not.
no underscore.
Yeah, just so other Nick Scarpino sees how his. It's literally it's
His doppelganger.
I was gonna say it's rare that you can literally see how the other you would do, and then you can judge if you're the good Nick or the bad Nick.
I'm definitely
and
the
when
bad Nick.
when the good Nick gets nonstop photos of bad Nick's Taco Bell, we're gonna be able to decide pretty quick what universe we're living in.
Yeah.
What reality this is.
But here's the thing, though. First, two things. A funny vision I had in my mind's eye. You should go to Taco Bell next time and bring your own bag. Like you go to the supermarket, bring like your own burlap sack from Trader Joe's. And be like, hey, can you put it in this? And they're just be like, you're literally the first person that wouldn't pay the 10 cents.
No one has ever thought to do
Even
that.
the guy that panhandles outside to get $1 taco pays the 10 cents to get the
Yeah,
fucking
he gets the
bag.
bag because he wants the bag to shit in.
But the bigger thing is that it comes down to service. It comes down to service.
Well, then she gave me the bag.
But this woman already got off on the wrong foot. And here's the thing, because Greg and I are like the yin to yang, like for years now. Is Greg overcompensates on niceness when I'm mean to someone?
Oh, he
I notice
does.
it. I notice it every time.
He's like,
But it's very clear. It's because you're always the tip of the sword in front of me, and so I can't literally go. I'm not with this guy. I'm not.
Don't shit in my food.
Exactly. I'm here for the first time in forever. Please give me 2 cheeseburgers and the buffalo tenders.
But Greg really lays it on thick because he's like. Because I'm not saying anything that no one else wants to say. Am I wrong? No, of course not. I always say whatever everyone's fucking
you
thinking.
literally,
I
it's like you
wasn't-
climb into my brain and you say exactly what's floating around.
For
in
the
my
record, I wasn't going to say anything to
were
her
like-
about waiting in line because I was going to yell at the manager. I thought it was that only the manager could check out because the manager's got something going on
So,
upstairs. He isn't all normal either.
Here's the thing, though. You weren't here when we first went. That guy's not the manager. He's just the oldest person that lives there. They were training him the 3 weeks ago.
That's right. Yeah,
Remember?
he's just the
Yeah.
oldest dude.
The
I
dude
did
that
not know
walked
this
out, it
information.
was so high out of his mind that he's like, "Don't remember that. I mean, don't forget that."
Yeah, that's what he said. when
That
he
guy
walked
was
out.
training the other guy that you thought was the
Yeah.
manager.
No.
So
Yeah.
you were about to give
Yes.
a ton of shit to the guy
So
that
it really
is like
was his
3
girl's
weeks
fault.
into there.
But,
Yeah.
but,
Brandy or whatever.
but then Greg goes,
Don't
can I
say
please
her
get 2 cheeseburgers? Thank you, ma'am. And can I please, thank you,
I didn't
please.
say it like that. What I
And
did
I'm
is
like,
I walked
come
up,
on, Greg.
I had read her name tag and I said, she goes, "What do you want?" And I go, "Hey, Brandy, how you doing?" She's like, "I'm good. What do you want?" And then I went in. Thank you very much.
I just think that's bullshit. Like the thing that bothers me the most about the situation is I'm not heckling. I'm being like, I literally said, can we be served? Like we were just fucking standing here. This is the slowest Burger King in the world. You know, like it's fast food. Like we need to be served. You're just letting us stand here. If a person from Burger King, like the executive Burger King building or whatever, one of the people, they'd
king.
fucking flip the fuck out if they saw people. Like
That's
being
why
treated
I'm
the
telling
right way.
people
Probably.
tweet this video at Burger King. We'll
So
get
I'm
some
not
solution.
wrong. I'm not
We
even
better
calling
get
wrong.
one Whopper apiece.
We'll
free
get some
out of this.
restitution.
A day.
Wanted something.
Also,
life.
it is sort of our fault for going to that particular Burger
Oh, that
King.
Burger
There's
King's
not-
a
there's
I don't
not
want
many
to
Burger
say.
Kings to
I don't
go
want to
to.
say where it's at because Greg's already named names.
Ninth
and I
and
want
Howard.
Wow. Okay.
San Francisco, California. It's the gas
There's only
station
2 Burger
King.
Kings in the city.
Yeah, what
The
do
other
you
one's
mean
in the
Greg's
Richmond.
already named names?
You said these.
Do you think they're gonna put up signs like "Don't feed these guys" and or give them really good service?
I'm just
with the
worried that
bag?
we're gonna come back in next time and there's gonna be like a lawyer waiting.
I
for
really
us,
don't
like-
plan on eating there again, so
Really?
I'm fine. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go.
I don't
Now
like
we
It was
can't.
good. Here's the worst part: is I enjoyed that a lot.
It was really
But
good.
the thing that pissed me off the most is when she finally gave me my bag. She just dropped my fries in upside down. They were just
That
like-
was awesome.
just zero
No
fucks.
fucks given.
And
I saw her-
also, she asked me, "Do you want ketchup?" There was not one damn ketchup packet.
She
in there.
was-
And I said yes.
She
I
was
said I wanted
clearly
ketchup.
thinking about the 5-minute conversation she had instead of taking our order, and that was rolling around in her head.
Flirting with
Flirting with
Remember
homeboy
guy.
Johnny Pot Smoker,
Johnny Pot
Mick a Nut.
yeah.
Listen, nut.
Listen, I respect the fact that maybe you don't like your job, you don't want to be there. It's totally fine. I totally understand.
We've all had that
We've
job.
all had shitty jobs, but that is your job. And when I worked at those places, when I did landscaping, all these jobs that really sucked, I did it with a smile because you have to have a little pride in what you fucking do. Like it's the same thing I think about with service at a restaurant. If a service at a restaurant's great and it enhances your meal, I'll give you 25 or 30%. If you're a fucking asshole and you're a bad waiter and you don't give a damn and there's no apologies, I'll give you fucking $1. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
You know, like so, like I'm gonna, you know, in a situation like that, I expect to be served. I'm frankly paying your part of your salary. Right. This is the idea is that we have an interaction. It's a positive interaction, and that reflects badly on Burger King. So I'm not sorry at all that I was mad at her. Not even a little bit.
I don't think you should be sorry that you're
Not
mad
even
at
a
her.
little bit. Not even a little bit.
Thank you. Now, to get back to my original point, 2 cheeseburgers and buffalo chicken tenders. And the buffalo chicken tenders were, I was expecting them to be disgusting. They were standout good. They were, I mean, not great, don't get me wrong, but like I'd expect
Standout
if I went to a bar,
Ringing
like and they
endorsement.
gave me those kind of things, and I got more of them for like the bar money. Obviously, these were like $3. I'd be like, yeah, all right, I won out on this one.
See, that's the thing. We've been there 3 times now.
Yeah.
This is a Burger King that is also part of a gas station and
Starbucks.
also part of a Starbucks.
And when we say that, if you're not familiar, you walk into the section of the gas station where you pay for your gas.
Yeah.
Then there are two, not doors, just holes in
Just
the wall that you
openings.
walk through to one of the other
They
restaurants.
remind me of the Chuck E. Cheese rat holes that
Yeah,
you used to have to
100%.
go through
Yeah, yeah.
to get to the
my
ball.
God,
or
And in
back.
between all of that is just people that are, I'm sorry for. It's a bad,
It's
bad.
this
place.
It's not in a great part of
That's-
San Francisco.
The only other option though, we want Burger King to go to Richmond, and that's just the Richmond, and that's just not tenable because we're going to the Sunset.
It's not tenable.
If we're going that far out, I'd rather go south and hit up In-N-Out and then come back out.
We could do that.
Yeah.
We could get right on the highway from King.
We should just take this shit to Buffalo Wild Wings one day. And do
Oh
it
my
there.
God!
Yes.
If we can get to Buffalo Wild Wings, by 5 or 6, like we did when we came home from Sony that time,
Yeah.
we ate like kings.
Yeah.
For like $25.
We could do
Well,
that.
for the record, I think you can eat like that regardless of the time at Buffalo.
No,
we
no,
get like
no.
the early bird special.
No, they do. They have happy hour specials on all their appetizers. What kind of
Oh,
fucking
shit.
team fat mother? See, you're fake. You're fake.
No, I'm not.
You're a fake team fat.
Greg
member.
Miller
Not
from 2 years ago would have memorized that menu in time.
Greg Miller knows the Buffalo Wild Wings menu. Ballin' ass Greg Miller throwing his money around off this kind of funny shirt. He doesn't care. Guess how much I got this for? $0. It pays to go to the Kind of Funny store when we're trying to do a sale because we don't know what the fuck we're doing, and we put the shirts up for free. Literally $0 and 0 cents.
Yeah, literally. So they messed up.
Shipping $0 and 0 cents. If any of
That
you
came
would,
out of our pocket.
if any of you would have not Greg, not me. I try not to think about the end game of how I got a free
We paid
shirt
for that
from
shirt.
my
That
own
shirt wasn't
company.
No, the good people of District Lines because we had some complicated. Thank you for everyone who went and purchased during the sale and happy post Thanksgiving. But the people
Kindoffunny.com/store.
the good people at kindoffunny.com/store that provide our shirts for us they did mess up a couple things, but I did not. It's my fault. I did not give them enough of a heads up for what we sort of wanted to do, and they were out at a big convention, so they were working nonstop over the holidays for us, which is great. But Greg did manage to get a free shirt out of it, and they gave it to us for free as sort of a concession for like having some technical.
Okay, so you really did
difficulties.
get a free. Didn't come
He
out
got
of
a free
pocket.
shirt.
I'm not mad at you anymore.
Because I literally said, I was texting back and forth
Capitalism.
with our representative, and I was like, hey, I was like, hey, this is a problem. Like, people are getting stuff for $0. She's like, who was it? I'm like, it's Greg. It's one of our guys, so don't worry about it. And she's like, oh, I'll give it to him for free. And I said, absolutely not. Charge that guy. Absolutely charge him. Just take money out of his
double.
pocket.
Fuck it.
Yeah, charge him $50 for it.
Damn.
Try to
Yeah,
get
I
free
literally
shirts.
was like, can you come to his house and just punch him in the face? Punch him in the face.
But you're here so much. She might punch
I
you
want her to
too.
come from Florida and just punch you in
Wow,
the face. No, it was fine. So they gave it to us for free. They were cool.
Okay.
Before we get to the topic, real quick, I want to introduce a new member of the family that might upset Colin. But I got the iPhone 6 Plus.
Oh.
God damn, look how
very
big
big.
that
Let's-
goddamn phone is.
Oh, look at it. Look how beautiful it is.
Screen-
It's a
Dirty.
pretty screen, but that thing's
Tim,
that's
where'd you-
practically
there
a
you are.
laptop.
For a
Why
second,
don't
I
you
couldn't
attach
see
a
you.
goddamn keyboard to it? It could be a fucking surface.
See right there, I almost dropped it. It can't even look. I have huge man hands, and I can't get. Look at me struggle to get to the one.
That thing's legitimately as big as a Vita. Let me
It's
see. it.
amazing.
Look at this. This is a Vita.
Yeah.
This is
I'm
like,
jealous of you holding it right now. I want it.
well, it's
Tim,
yours, so you can have it if you
Yeah.
want it.
What pushed you over the limit? Because last time I talked to you, you were thinking about just getting the regular iPhone 6.
So
What pushed you over the
here's
limit?
my thing, and I'm going to be honest with everybody.
You're a size 4.
Finally.
Constantly, as I'm using this, when I'm using it, I'm like, this is the greatest thing in
Yeah.
my entire. I would just want to use my phone more.
Yeah, it's cool.
Anytime I'm not using it, I'm like, fuck, I should have got the 6.
It's too big.
I totally should have.
It's too big in your pocket.
But then I hold it, and I'm like, oh, fuck that guy. That's stupid, Tim. But if I got the 6, I would have been thinking the other way.
I want to watch your eyes as you put it back in your pocket.
But like, my hand is still sore right now from trying to hit the one.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. Then after you use this for a couple days, then you
Get new hand
you
muscles?
go back to hold another one, and you're just like, this is a Fisher Price toy. This doesn't even make sense. Get out of here. And it's very
So I don't understand though.
Liberating,
It
really.
sounds like you're 50-50 on it.
yeah. But then there's all these other little things you think about, like my battery life that just doesn't die. It's the best.
Is it
Before
really
I'd have
good?
to be like, Greg, please let me borrow your charge cable. And you're like,
why? Did you,
Why?
He's
why were you
Watto.
an old
He's
Italian
Watto.
man?
He's Watto from Star Wars.
I'm going to borrow you Italian thing.
Honey, I'm sorry.
Let me borrow your
I
iPhone.
wasn't so bad, was I?
Honey.
Yeah. No more of that
We're
shit.
all really good at Watto.
Yeah.
Just want everyone to know that. Like,
I like how anytime we talk about Watto now, it's just my horrible impression of Watto.
no, but
based on
it's
another
not a
Star Wars.
horrible.
Yeah, it's basically-
impression. It's pretty much spot on.
It's indistinguishable from the real Watto. Real quick though, I was just thinking about this. This is very random. Before we get into the next topic, Nick's quote last week, and I retweeted it on kind of funny bids. It sounds like shoving hell through a thimble.
It's cramming hell through.
Cramming hell through a thimble. One of the most random and funny I don't even know what the hell that means, but that's brilliant.
If you,
Because I understand exactly what you mean.
yeah, it was just chaos. Sorry, last week we got to get a better solution for a 5-man podcast. I think we're getting one.
Last week's episode was awesome.
It was good.
That
That
was
was
worth
worth
the
the
dollar.
dollar.
That was definitely worth $1. And Aransky was hilarious because he's a dad, by the way. He's a new dad. His kid's about a year and a half old now. Yeah. You can see him slowly if you watch. If you kind of wish you could fast forward, but if you sort of watch and skip through, you see him slink down and down. And at one point, I think he drifts off and goes to sleep for a second. Because you were
But
feeding
at one
him bourbon,
point, we
too,
also
the
all
entire
danced
time.
together, and that was the best gift
That's
I've
a
ever
good
seen.
gift. That's a good gift. Thank you for making those
Yes.
like we
gift.
requested.
Oh man.
I like how everybody's so far in that whole part was like, before we get to the next topic, we haven't even introed this show. Ladies and gentlemen, this is GameOverGreggy show. Each and every week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather around. Damn it. This table. I'm keeping you on your toes, ladies and gentlemen, to discuss a random topic we each bring. If you like that, you can get the whole show each and every Friday over on patreon.com/kindoffunny. You give us some money, you get it there. It's a brand new show. You're all excited. You get the video, you get the MP3. If you don't think we're worth any money, then you can go over to youtube.com/kindoffunny each and every Monday through Thursday to get the show broken out topic by topic before we post the whole thing on Friday and on iTunes, which isn't a lie anymore. You're done lying to people.
Done
about
lying. We're going to update that shit.
I was saying there was one hitch. People have been tweeting me saying you haven't updated the iTunes feed.
Yeah.
There was one little hitch. We've solved it now.
Yep.
Now we're ready
good.
to go.
So iTunes, SoundCloud, all that, you'll be good. Again, I need to keep pimping out. Go subscribe on SoundCloud.
That's
and
a
on
big deal
iTunes.
for us. Go to
Yeah.
SoundCloud and subscribe.
They have to
for us.
rate us or something. Isn't there some sort of rating you want them
It's
to
on
give us?
iTunes.
Yeah, rate us on iTunes.
Positive rating.
People
Do
aren't
nice
stupid.
things.
They know what to do.
Yeah,
They're
people are good
already
people.
supporting us this much. They're giving a thumbs up,
Yep.
sharing us with their friends, like, subscribe, share, so on and so forth. Nick,
Yeah.
what's your topic?
You got me.
I got you.
I was ready for the table, not ready for the
I
topic.
can look. Here's Portillo.
No, I got
Colin,
it.
there's your championship belt. You won from the Monopoly
Yep.
Black Friday tournament.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
beat me
We'll
4
get-
games to 2.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
In a short amount of time, we'll talk about the Monopoly tournament.
So
All right. I don't even know what the hell that means.
You'll find out.
All right.
at Denna, DENNEHH, says what are
Denna.
Denna. You got
Dinner wasn't that good, Annie.
Let's go race some pods. Says what are some of the things you should know how to do but don't? And remember, if you have topics,
Man.
please tweet at me, Nick_Scarpino. Follow me and tweet at me your topic ideas for the show, and you'll get them on just like at Adena. Did I do it right? You didn't
It's
go
too
with
late.
me.
It's too late now.
No?
It was good, though.
I'm going to start with change oil on a car.
Oh.
Change my own oil.
I got guys for that.
Yeah, see, but my thing is growing up, my dad is very blue collar, heavy equipment operator, a local 150. He's out there, he's out in the yard doing things this like crack of dawn. He's up there,
Yeah.
he's mowing the lawn, he's doing this, then he's working on truck. He's had the same Ford Ranger truck since like 1992.
That's a
Sounds
man.
like
That's
a
a
guy
man
I know.
thing.
That, and it's because
That's a
he
man thing.
he knows everything, pristine care of it. The water pump just died on it. He went to get a new water pump. Some random people have tried to buy this truck off of him because it's still in like mint condition and it's a classic, literally.
Yeah.
Now, is he the kind of guy that can go to a junkyard and part?
Yes,
Like
1,000%.
find parts
Yeah.
for a thing?
Yeah, that's what happened when I lost a gas camp once. He's like, oh, okay, and he just came back the next day. He's like, I wanted to get I said
parted it out at
The
the
junk store is what I was trying to say.
Gotta go to the junk store.
Gotta go to that junk store. Goodwill, we call
Let's
it.
go to Watto's place and just like look around at all the junk.
wasn't that good. Now I'm a horse.
When you do it, it's just everyone smiles when you do it. When I do it, it's just
Oh.
crickets.
You do the walking. We do
crickets.
the walking.
Oh, you don't. Oh.
You mean I'm trying to? Wait, I'm gonna spring it on you guys. At
Hey,
one
I was
point,
gonna say, I like
but I'm
it.
trying to work on the walk and hook connection.
Captain Hook, everybody.
I got to memorize a couple lines. I got to watch it. Maybe after it airs on
watching it.
Thursday.
I'm watching it.
Can we watch it together?
Yeah, you can come over. If you want
Nope.
to
No, I'll
oh
just
wait,
call
no.
you.
Oh shit, we're gonna be in Vegas.
Yeah, we're on our way.
Damn
to
it, I can't
PlayStation
watch
I'll
it.
just call you.
Yeah, we
And
can.
you
Skype
can.
on
I'll
the
explain
plane.
to you what's happening
Oh,
while
we'll
it's
be,
happening.
we'll be on the plane
Yeah.
when it's going on. That's
Yeah.
fucking sweet.
Yeah.
Cool.
We can watch that shit.
Now, but no, yeah, I guess it works out.
Well,
Lots
well,
of times they have the New York feed though.
Yeah, but it's on it'll be the tail end, like the last
Okay.
hour.
All right,
It's on at
sure.
5 Pacific.
Changing my own oil, I should have learned from my dad. And when I tried to, eventually, I was like, "Teach me how to do." He's like, "Yeah, you don't need to do. It's easier just to go get it done, or like have a real person do it. You got to buy all this equipment. Where are you gonna keep that?" I was like, "All right, good point." 'Cause You
Yeah.
need like a pan, then you need to drain it, and you can't just throw oil away. You can't just pour it on
Sure
the
you
sink.
can. Just throw it out.
Dig a hole in your backyard, dump it in there, have a little oil pool. That's one.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I got a whole a list.
I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I'm pitching
Just-
here.
okay,
I'm tossing
yeah,
the
yeah.
baton to any one of you.
Yeah, usually, well, there's an
I'm still
order
trying to think of one because I know how to
things
do a lot of
I
things.
mean, my thing is pretty much everything. Like, I'm just a useless human being. Like, unless it's being stupid on camera, being stupid behind cameras, watching videos, I'm not really good at anything else. Like, opening things, I have a lot of trouble with. Like
pickles, like a jar
pretty
of
much
pickles?
anything jars. I remember
Doors?
booster packs of Pokemon cards. I always
Wow.
had issues.
Okay.
Chips, bag of
chip
chips.
bag. Yeah, that's not good. It's always really awkward.
I think
trying to-
Kevin, because Kevin has known you since birth, basically, is just giggling over there behind the camera.
Yeah, I mean, he just knows. Getting bottles off of, or tops off of bottles,
Really?
it's a challenge for me.
If you drank more, you'd.
Yeah,
understand that better.
it happened. Well, even with the Coke, I'm always like, damn it,
That's
this is
fair.
always awkward. Yeah, just basic stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The idea of cooking, nah. Driving, I'm really bad at driving. Parallel parking,
Well, in your defense, your car though is a walking just
it's-
monstrosity.
it's bad. But I mean, even if it wasn't, I still can't do anything with it.
What about parking in the garage downstairs?
At IGN,
Yeah.
never.
Can't. Do
I
it.
would never do that. I literally get to IGN and I will call Alexis to come down and park
Whoa,
it for
really?
me. Yeah.
That's
bad.
embarrassing.
That's
oh yeah.
bad
I don't
news.
give a
That's
shit.
really embarrassing.
I'm a grown ass
Okay.
man.
Okay.
All right.
But yeah. But again, I have people like Kevin who are fucking awesome and just he is the yin to my yang.
Right.
Where
He fills in the gaps.
he's the worst and best person in my life because he's just the loudest, most just fucking oh god, it's horrible, but it's also amazing.
He's ballsy.
He gets
Real
shit
quick,
done.
I'd like to double back, and I know I get comments all the time that I'm too mean to Nick, but I do want to double back to your car.
Fuck you, Nick.
Your car is a walking monstrosity.
A rolling monstrosity, maybe? Would that be more accurate?
Why is your car walking?
Kill me.
It's I will gladly take the amount of the volume of shit that you give me because sometimes I re-listen to the things that come out of my mouth and I'll be the first person to admit 50% of the time it's junk. It is just junk.
Well, a lot of times in this show we've done a full day of work, and so not every
Every
time,
time. Every single
So
time.
we come here and we're already kind of tired,
Yeah.
it's usually your best gems
can
are in the car,
Okay.
where you start going for a metaphor and you're like, it just collapses by the end, and you
What-
just try to get out of it as fast as possible.
What did I do? I tried to have a metaphor about how you guys weren't men because you were going to Target and buying cards from Hallmark. And then I just kept spiraling down. And you're like, where's he going? I don't know what's happening
Just
with
give
this.
him the rope. Let him go. He'll
Yeah,
figure
he's
it
in
out.
the pharmacy now. What's happening? Is he going over there? Oh, he's buying fresh fruit. That was it.
That's what you do at Target. You can buy all those.
You
things.
can. You can
Yeah.
get stuff at City Target.
The other thing, I'm bad at being an adult. I always say that's right at the top of the list, and that's for me that always comes down to tax stuff and just finance
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
talking about the time that when IGN got bought by Ziff Davis and they showed up for the first time and they're like, all right, everybody, you got to fill out your new benefits or whatever, and everybody asked Colin what to do for their 401ks, and Colin's like, I am not a financial analyst. This is what I did. If you want to copy it, fine, but I'm not in charge of any of you. Go down. And 7 of us did it because
Yeah.
we're all just man children who
Yeah.
have no idea how to really take care of themselves.
It's scary.
First of all, no one knows how to invest their 401k. Unless you're even, you have to
myth.
go to a financial advisor to have him study the stocks that you're investing in or the funds that you're investing in. But I'm right there with you. I don't really know how to do my taxes. I pay an accountant. Before that, it was my dad. Up until 3 years ago.
TurboTax, brosis.
Yeah, but TurboTax. But then I do I do some work on the side sometimes, and it gets really complicated with 1099 and all that stuff, and you have to file as a self-employed person and a W-2 employee. It's crazy stuff. So
yeah.
And there's stuff at the root. Remember when I first moved in with you and I was lamenting the fact that when I signed up for IGN, I'm on W-9 or whatever the hell it is. I claimed 5 or something. You're like, why did you claim any? That's
Yeah,
why
claim
I owe
zero.
thousands of dollars every time taxes
Yeah, I'm like,
come
what do
due.
you-
And you're
I mean,
how is that possible?
the
It's the same-
IRS is like, why don't you file for your children? You have 5 of them. You're like, I don't have
It's
any.
the same difference. You're just making more during the year, too much during the year.
Yeah.
And then you don't take whatever.
That's withholding. Yeah.
Stupid taxes.
The big thing that I can't do that I need to be able to do is I can't drive. Now I can drive. Every once in a while I do drive a car. Like Cheryl and I drove in Brisbane a few months ago, and it's fun. She was funny because she's like, I've never seen you drive, and you make it seem like you literally can't drive a car, but you're actually kind of fine. And I'm like, yeah, but
Can I do the Colin impression?
yeah.
See, when you get in, do you just go? No, I can't. I can't do this.
I hate it. The one thing she got really mad at me when I was pulling into a spot, and I knew I was making her nervous, so I just revved the engine and went really fast into the spot, and then brake. She's like, "Did you mean to do that?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Just "Fuck you." But I have a chronic fear of driving. So like it's like to me, I had a Ford Ranger. It's probably the same year as like a 91 or 92 when I was in high school and just graduated college. But since then, like I've never had my like license. I had like a junior's license or something and permit, obviously, which meant I think there was some license that you had too where you could drive to school and work in New York, but you couldn't drive anywhere else. But everyone just drove everywhere anyway.
In California, you can't do that, but in other states, a permit will allow you to drive until it gets like a certain.
Yeah, it was something like that, but everyone just drove everywhere anyway. Yeah. Like no one gave a fuck. Everyone's like, "Oh, junior license, good enough." But
it's like the educational discount on software. You're like, I'll just keep using this.
Yeah.
Was that a really nerdy reference?
No, it's a real one.
It's perfect.
It's
apt.
legit.
How was
apt.
that? Did that pass the Greg Miller high standard?
Yeah.
Of references.
There's this Indian place, this restaurant at Westlake that we always go to. Huh?
So
it's awesome because they offer student discounts for people to go to SF State. Now I went to SF State years ago at this point. And they're like, "Oh, we have the discounts. Like buy one get one free if you have your ID." I'm like, "Oh no, but can I just use my student number?" And I just throw random numbers at them, and it always works. Awesome.
Did you change the number?
No, I remember my number, but like
yeah, I think mine was 83115. No, 831. Yeah, something like that.
See, I'm not putting my number out there. I don't want people going there.
Well, mine's gibberish, and they've redone
to...
everything at Mizzou, so it doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, it's good Indian food though. But okay, Colin, continue.
No, man, that's basically it.
You got to tie. You can't tie a tie.
I can't tie a tie.
tie.
I kind of learned how to do it a little bit, but remember I was like struggling for like hours. Like, I can't do it. And but driving is a big thing because it's really like my Achilles heel. People are like, Colin, you're so handsome, and I'm like, I know. And they're like, Colin, you're so smart. I'm like, I know. But then they're like, Colin, you can't drive a car, and I'm like, I know. And they're like, fuck you, Colin.
Yeah, they say that.
They're like, fuck you. I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Yeah.
Because it just happened that I graduated high school when I was 17. I moved to Boston, so I didn't need a car there. You have to be a fucking maniac to drive a car in Boston anyway. It's like snowing 6 months out of the year. And by the way, there's so much snow in Boston. It's probably the same in Chicago. There's so much fucking snow that they have machines that look like dumpsters that they put out, and they put the snow in the dumpsters so the dumpsters melt the snow. That's how much snow is like fucking everywhere. And so like no one had a car. Then so I was there from 17 to 22, like pretty much continuously, no car. Then I moved here at 22 and I didn't have a car and I had no money. And then lo and behold, I'm 30 years old. And so it's one of those things I really need to learn how to do because I have to like formulate in my mind. Like when I go home to Long Island, it's like, fuck, I can't get anywhere.
Yeah,
you know, like I'm like, Dad, can you pick me up from Ronkonkoma? Can you bring me to JFK? And, thank God, like my best friend lives across the street. And then he finally moved out because he moved back after college. And then he was working in Riverhead and he was living at home and he moved down. So I'm like, fuck it, now I have nothing to do. Like literally nothing to do. And it's all because I can't just get in one of my dad's like 4 cars that are sitting around and just being like,
go somewhere.
Yeah, and just like, it's like, it's too much. And I'm getting older and older and I'm getting like more and more scared of it to the point where I'm like, I'm always just gonna have to live with Greg. And he's gonna have to bring me everywhere for the rest of my fucking life. I think he brought me to the dentist once and then sat in the car and read comics and I was in there for like fucking 2 hours. If I was him, I would have fucking left.
Now the downside to it, I don't mind it because I read comics. I thought I played something on Vita or PSP at the time too. The real shitty fucking part about the dentist stuff is I've accepted that role. That was my cross to bear. That I'll take Colin to the dentist all the time. Then Cheryl came around. She drives him everywhere now. I'm like, okay, no big deal. She can read comics. Then Colin's dentist moved next to Buffalo Wild Wings. What the fuck? I could be sitting in Wild Wings watching sports, drinking a beer, hanging out. Just a beer, not 2 beers. You got to drive.
Yeah.
You can have 2 beers. You're a man of.
But then you start questioning it. Then you start questioning a man of more girth.
I was like, I got to more, and I was like, it's gonna be offensive no matter what you say. Go for the joke.
I'm a girthy girth. Yeah. But then now I feel like I really got a raw deal there.
You know what, Greg? Ultimately, like I need to learn. Like I want Christine's car because that's a car that I'll drive with no issues, and I'll just take my goddamn test.
For the viewer at home, Christine drives a Mini Cooper.
Like, and I was like, I remember asking her, I'm like, can I just drive your car and like take my test, or like I'll just take my test in Christine's car? And she's like, oh, you will? And I'm like, fuck.
Wait, so what are you worried about with a test?
I'm just worried in general when I drive a car that I'm gonna hurt myself or hurt someone else.
No, I get that.
And I'm not worried about anything with the test, really. I can't parallel park.
No,
Cheryl also drives a goddamn fucking boat.
What does she drive?
She drives like a full like Accord sedan. It's fucking huge, dude. It's a goddamn huge car.
That's the same. I drive the same car.
It's a huge car. It's
not
way
that
too big.
It's long.
She'll even say it herself. Yeah, it's long.
It's got a lot of space in the back.
Like I don't want to,
it's thick.
It's so big that it beeps when you back up.
Insanely thick.
You didn't like that joke? Oh, that was pretty good.
Yours was good, but Greg was ripping off my.
I was making faces.
I was saying long and thick, and he was like, "Yeah."
So I don't know. It's just one of those things. I have to get over it. I wonder if I'll never get over it. Because I think about my grandfather, my mom's dad. They lived, right outside of Queens, and they didn't need cars. My grandma had a car, but he never drove ever. And he died when he was in his late 70s. He was like, I don't drive. I just take the train and chill.
Take the train and chill.
Just chill.
Makes sense.
I think it's hilarious, and I think you should never get a license. I think you should never learn and see how long you can go. Because if you're in San Francisco, you're not encumbered by it. You don't need to drive.
I feel like I'd be encumbered by having a car here.
You would. It would be really expensive. You'd have to move it, especially if you're home more often. You'd have to move it every well, actually out here you're fine, but every day or two you have to move, or else they'll give you a ticket at some point because everything's street sweeping. So it's you forget about it.
First and third,
you're gonna go get a ticket.
Tuesdays and Fridays.
Yeah.
Street cleaning.
Also, if you need to park in my neighborhood, it's I pay to park everywhere I go, and I pay $200 a month to park in my house and $100 a month to park at the office. So it's $300 a month just for the
Parking.
prestige of driving.
That's just parking. Then there's
just
car
parking.
insurance. Then there's gas.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. Now I have to have a car because my wife every once in a while goes, "We have to get out of the city. Let's go." So and my car is paid off because I've owned it forever. It's a Honda. Which is good.
Honda.
But yeah, I mean, if you're in the city, I wouldn't recommend having it. If you can get around without it, we got Uber.
But no. You're missing the point here. It's not that he wants to buy a car. He wants to know how to drive. He wants to be able to drive a car.
No, I understand that.
I can't. What if I was just I'm gonna move now and go to Oklahoma City? I can't. I literally can't live anywhere that's not. There's literally 5 places in the entire country I can live. Reasonably have a life.
Yeah, it's crazy to me. There was a time when I was trying to get my. Well, you can ride a scooter though.
I did. That's the ironic part about hurting myself is that I rode a goddamn fucking Yamaha Vino for 2.5 years
on the highway.
Just everywhere.
Those are, by the way, those are the most dangerous thing to put on the road.
They almost killed Damon.
Yeah, Damon had the same exact scooter that I had.
Yep. And he shattered his collarbone recently with it.
Oh, I almost ate shit on that thing a couple times.
Yeah.
But thank God I never had any issues with it. In fact, I took such good care of it that I got 60% of my money back when I sold it.
But every single person I know that has ridden a two wheel vehicle has put it down at some point.
You have.
I have. Mark Ryan has.
Andre
definitely had. Andre messed himself up.
Yeah.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Was he working with us?
Yeah, he used to have a big. He had one of those big Harley. It wasn't a Harley.
Triumph.
It was
I remember when he drew a motorcycle.
Yeah.
I just don't remember him.
Oh, he put it down. Yeah, he got it fixed and then continued to do it. But he came in one day limping, and he was one of those guys that he would wear the jacket, but he didn't wear the pants. And the problem is everyone wears the jacket because it looks cool and you can take it off and you don't have to worry about it. The pants are what really. If you're just going to skid, that's the first point of contact. So that's generally what's going to hurt the most. You're going to get that nice strawberry, or it's going to rip through your jeans and into your bone, depending on how hard you fall.
Jesus.
So
gotta be easier ways to get to work.
Chobot.
I remember that.
After coming up to San Francisco, I talked her into getting some protective gear because this is right when I was I'm learning to ride a motorcycle and I'm cool, but I want to be responsible about it also because that's
Nick Scarpino.
That's my nom de plume.
Nick Scarpino, the cool but responsible.
So I was like,
story.
Jess, you got to get protective gear, and she's like, no, it's stupid, it's dumb looking. I was like, no, they sell it in cute girl colors. We'll go look. Finally, she's like, fine, let's go look. We took a lunch. We walked over to the one on 6th and I think Folsom. She found one she liked. Great. A week later, someone pulled out in front of her, and she slammed into his fender and went over, toppled over his hood, and was fine, but her hips were messed up because she wasn't wearing the pants. I don't think the pants would have saved her because the impact is what happened and kind of threw her hips out of alignment. But she had to go to physical therapy for a year for that.
Yeah, that's rough, man. That sucks. It's dangerous. That's the ironic part is that I have to get over it. Someone at some point, we should make a series of it. I need an excuse. Just some reason to do it. Colin's going to the goddamn DMV. He's taking his fucking test.
Yep. Nothing like when you need to focus the most, having GoPros on you, your dumb friends and Kevin giggling in the back of the seat.
I was going to say, we have to be in the back seat for this. What do you think they'll let us do it? Film it?
The one thing I'm sure that the millions upon millions of people out there want is to spend more time at the DMV.
Hey, man. Hey, I didn't think anyone the Monopoly live stream was a joke, and then 24,000 people watched it. So
I would not have thought that either.
You never.
I actually tuned into it.
You never know.
I'll be honest with you guys because you know me. I totally pay attention to 100% of the things we do all the time, and I'm always on the ball.
Yeah.
I totally forgot this was happening. I just forgot this was happening.
Yeah.
And went to the channel to look up something, and I was like, oh, they're playing Monopoly today. And I watched it for 5 minutes.
Yeah, me too.
And I
the
know
live
you
streams
guys.
always perform, man. Victoria's Secret, then of course the Fast Fest, which destroyed.
God, yeah. That's something
people
special.
care, and then of course our Patreon live streams, which are private, so they don't perform. They bring the people in, get them to be.
I like
part of
those though. They're intimate.
I do too.
I would say the one thing that I need to do better that I don't really know how to do is have an adult confrontation with someone I don't know. So like, I'm good with you guys. If I have a problem or something, we sit down. We have this like nice sort of like man relationship where we can talk about our feelings and things like that. But if my neighbor's being loud,
oh yeah,
my wife's like, "Are you gonna say something?" And I'm like, "No, I'm gonna just deal with it all night until he goes to bed, and then I'll feel okay about myself." Like I cannot like going
go
up
over
to the
there, knock
door
on
and
the door?
knocking on. I just
I had to
it's
do
like
that
the most nerve wracking thing.
Post college, I had a neighbor downstairs who was super nice, but it way too loud subwoofers. So I had to go down there all the time. I got used to it.
I
It's
just
just a band-aid. You got to do it. Rip it off. Get it, and then it gets in the rhythm. You're fine.
does it. Oh,
Things you're not comfortable with, you'll eventually.
That reminds me, like customer service. I'm not good with dealing with that.
really?
At all. Yeah, even though they're on the phone, I'm just like shit.
What do you like?
I
What
always try to get other people to handle it for
do
me.
you not like asking them for problems, or do
Yeah.
you just not like because they just annoy the shit out of you?
Well, no, that's a whole other thing. I'm just talking about just like, I don't know. I always feel like they're judging me. They're judging my decisions.
Interesting.
They're judging whether or not I
that's-
said the numbers or if I tiled them on the listening, because I don't know how long they
I
were
don't think
listening
they're
to me.
judging you on that.
They probably are. I'm going to assume they are.
Okay. It's
Yeah.
one way of looking at
Okay.
it.
I mean, they just know me. They know I'm not good at stuff. They watch this show.
Yeah, they all know.
Next time they're going to know. They know I'm not good at throwing things. They know I'm not good
You're not good at throwing things.
not good
Oh,
at
I
throwing
want to see you
things.
throw something.
I'm not good at catching things.
Oh, we should
That
play.
could be another
We should
YouTube
play,
series.
we should play baseball.
Tim throws things.
I'm not good at long division
Yeah,
No
or-
one's good at long
or
division.
just division.
No one remembers how to do that. Past high school, I couldn't tell you how to
I
divide
should
anything.
I should know my left and rights better.
Okay. That's weird.
There was one time we were driving, like my best friend Poe, he'll call you on your shit. This is in high school, maybe college or whatever. But we literally rolled up to a stop sign, and he goes, "All right, take a right." And I did do this on the steering wheel. He goes, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
That's amazing. You know what? You want to know what's funny? Is the way I memorized that was because I'm right-handed.
No, I mean it's
So, and to this
it
day,
is
I do
one
a
of
mental.
those things that's so
What
easy.
was this? I don't. What, oh,
It's
I thought
I
you were
mean I'm
snapping.
just,
Gotcha.
no. It's one of those things that's so easy.
Oh my god.
Slow.
So
Beat that thing slow.
easy. But no, like the other day we were driving to go to a party for Damon and Kim's engagement. We weren't driving. I'm sorry. Uber was driving us, right? And I was already set off because this Uber guy had no fucking idea what he was doing.
That's the worst, dude.
It's
That's
like it's
the
on the
fucking
thing
worst.
and he's asking questions. He clearly doesn't know what he's doing. I'm like, just go to 19th, and he's like trying to take a left through the park down this, and I'm like, no, just go to 19th. It'll be easier. And so he gets there, and I'm like, take a right. And he's like, a right, and Christine's like, no, a left, and I'm like, yes, that's correct, a left. I'm sorry. And I got all flustered. I'm like, Christine, you can just give the directions. And she thought I was being mean to her. I'm like, no, I'm just embarrassed that I screwed
I'm
this
just
up.
stupid. I don't
This
know
guy's
things.
already overloaded with information, and I'm so just trying to tell him the right thing, and I'm telling him the wrong thing.
Uber drivers that don't know where they're going are the fucking worst.
Yeah.
I
This is-
can't take it.
But this, you understand,
City's
this is
so
a
small.
legitimate thing. Like, this is what they're known for now, right? Like, they show up, but that's it. They don't know where the hell they're going most of the time. And oh my
I don't
God, try to
agree
take
with
an.
I wouldn't
oh,
say
man.
most of the time.
I would say
Some of the
one
time,
out
at
of
least.
5 Uber drivers.
Get one out of 5.
Look at me like they don't know why they're in that car.
They're like a Colin. They're just like, fuck, I can't drive. I don't think I
It's just the worst
Stole
'cause,
this
like-
car, and I'm not sure what to do with it.
Well, because even I'm like, I got to go to XYZ, and they're like, okay, can you put it in the app or like give me the exact address? And I'm like, all right, I'll get it for you. Can you just drive? And and they're like, well, I'm like, can you just go towards like fucking Hayes Valley? Like that's the ocean. Can you just go that way? It's like, how do you not know like at least a little bit about where you're going?
Yeah,
You know?
how about-
I understand if you don't know where you're going and you're just a normal person, but when you're supposed to be a fucking cab driver, I really expect that you know what the hell I'm talking about.
But these are Uber X's that are.
I feel here's the thing with cab drivers, I feel like they're asking sometimes like, oh, do you mind if I take blah 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 blah? And I'm like, no, take whatever you think's quickest. I think with some Uber drivers that don't know where they're going, that's a fucking way to say like, I have no idea where the fuck I'm going.
Yeah.
So should I take? Well,
But I mean, I always
Yeah.
put it in the app, and then when they turn around, they have all these questions. I'm like, just fucking GPS it, man. It's right there. You have all the information you need to make this work.
I know they get flustered though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've had a couple bad Uber drives.
But left or right, in a pinch, I'm gonna get wrong every time.
really?
Right.
If it's
What's your
knee
right?
jerk,
What's your right
this
right
is
now?
my right.
Well, then there you go.
But I mean, like we're
I was
driving.
Princey.
Someone, I will have to
you know
think
what
about
helps?
it.
When you say it, point with the hand because you know which hand is your left and right. That's what I always do. Like if someone's like, "What do I need to go?" I'm like, "Right, go right," or frame right, or you know what I mean. It just helps you draw the
That's a pro tip.
the
I like that.
association with the hand. Like left. You'll see me if I point. I'll always go like this. Like form the L first and then point just to make sure I'm right.
Is that why you do your thumbs up like this so you can see which?
No,
L's
I
right?
did it because that's how Arnold Schwarzenegger did it in the Terminator.
Not really. Not how
That's
it
how
really
we
went.
did it.
We've proven that once or twice. I should be a better speller. I have a degree in journalism. My grammar should be a bit more on point than it is. But it's like I always, when magazine editing, when I'm taking that class, that was literally like one of those ones of like, every time I'm taking a test, I just imagine myself as somebody who's been like shot 7 times and I'm clearly bleeding, but I'm like, I can get out the door. I can get to safety. Like it's not gonna be pretty, but I'm gonna get through this.
But let me
That's
ask you
always
this:
was,
if you see a misspelled word, you recognize it, right?
most of the time.
Yeah, because you recognize every time I do titling things, you're like, everything in this is wrong.
But I mean, it's always easier, I feel, to catch other
This
people's
isn't even
mistakes.
English.
Right.
Catching someone else's mistakes in writing,
Yeah.
or in tweets, or in headlines, or in descriptions, like for our stuff, something will happen. You're like, how did you miss that? Not, you don't say it like all indignant like that, but it's just like, oh, that's clearly wrong. When I'll write something wrong, like once I had to schedule a tweet for Colin and totally butchered a word and had Googled that word.
Yeah.
And like, it was one of those things that still came up. I don't know. It's one of those weird things where there was enough search results, I guess, for that word that it didn't auto-correct it. But like, it was clearly wrong. And Colin's like, that's not even remotely how you spell that word. It's like, I didn't think so either, but I couldn't prove it.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
embarrassing how much I've needed to Google the word embarrassing. Just to know how to
That's one of
spell
those words that's really misspelled, though. Isn't that one like one of the?
it. One of the other most common misspelled words is misspell.
Yeah.
Necessarily is always a rough one for me.
Fuck
Still is
yeah.
to this day.
Definitely
is
the fuck
is
out.
hard. And you put in that video, and I was like, no, that's spot on.
Definitely. That's a college trick of like how to look for that word being misspelled.
Yeah.
I know how to spell every word.
I am an impeccable speller.
You know how to spell mayonnaise?
Yeah, of course. Mayonnaise.
Damn.
No,
There you
Colin's
go.
amazing at this stuff.
There
Like
you
his
go.
brain it just traps information in.
Mayonnaise is hard.
I am
It traps
getting
stupid information.
I'm getting dumber though. Like
Oh, yeah.
I am getting worse at spelling, mostly because that my first instinct. Instead of trying to remember back in the day, you'd be like, no, I'm gonna spell this word. I'm gonna spell definitely correctly,
don't.
right? And you delete, L-E, no shit, delete L-Y, no, this is not right. And then finally you give up and right click on it. Now I don't even try anymore. I
Yeah.
right click. If it doesn't work, I just write another word. Like I just give up.
See, no, I don't go that
really
far.
instead of definitely.
I'll
really
Google.
definitely.
I'll open a new tab,
And
Google,
Google it,
and
yeah.
put it
Well,
back
it's like,
in there.
all this information just atrophies and starts to fade and go away. Because when I went back to Mizzou in October, right, like I spoke at 2 classes. And the first class was just like, come in, explain your journey from Mizzou to what you do now. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, yeah, no problem. And then the second one was like, yeah, come in, explain what you do, and then critique the magazine that the kids did this week. And I was like, and like I looked through the magazine, I'm like, like I'm searching for like the things that I learned on how magazines should be set up, and this is how it's like a menu, right? Here are the
Yeah.
appetizers, there's your main course, there's your desserts at the back end and stuff like that, and it's like like I'm trying to form anything that I can say that won't
What's
be
up,
complete.
everybody?
Anybody know what came to the PlayStation Network today?
Take shirt off, walks away.
Yeah.
Please tell no one what you saw here. Like, subscribe, share. Yeah,
This is good.
that was a good one.
All right.
Thank you for that topic, listener, reader,
Thanks.
viewer.
Dana.
Tim,
Yes.
what's your topic?
So there's this book series called House of Robots.
Okay.
It is now being made into a web series, and they're sponsoring this segment. So
Okay.
if you guys want to watch this, it looks pretty cool, actually. There's like
Yeah, it's
claymation,
claymation.
it's stop motion stuff. You can click here. Kevin. do
Kevin's
stuff.
putting it there.
Good,
Kevin knows
good.
to put it there
down, put it
underneath
down.
the table in
Yeah,
the thing.
it looks pretty interesting. It looks pretty dope. It looks
so
more
what are you knocking your-
based towards kids,
Yeah.
but it's one of those things where like it's still fun looking.
Yeah.
But in honor of that, I want this topic to be about robots.
Robots.
Who are our favorite robots? And what robots do we not like?
I feel like I'm gonna settle in here because I feel like this is gonna be a good topic.
First and foremost,
log
let's
line.
talk about Johnny fucking Five.
Yep.
That's what I was gonna
Shout
start
out
with.
Johnny
That was
Five.
what I was gonna
Short
start with.
Circuit. What a fucking flick. Followed by the even better Short Circuit 2.
I mean, we didn't need Steve Gutenberg. No one needs Steve
No one needs-
Gutenberg.
we got
All need is
Michael
the Indian
McKeon.
guy.
Michael
Yeah.
McKeon, and then the guy who's a white guy who's being an Indian, which is really you would
Really,
never get away with
it was
these
a
days,
little
which is
racist.
crazy. Yeah, but it was still a great movie. But yeah, it was Short Circuit. Come on, and especially being a kid when Short Circuit and Short Circuit 2, because I like Short Circuit 2 as a kid because there's none of this bullshit of having Johnny Five's like having an existential crisis, right?
Yeah.
Nah, he's not trying to kill anybody. He's just hanging out in New York.
Well,
Yeah.
he
And
was
now,
at first
and
trying
now
to kill
Oscar,
people. He was a weapon.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Why I like Short Circuit 2 better?
Oh, I see.
I don't have to deal with that baggage of like him being in science. I never liked the movies that get you, like, it's like Jurassic Park, right? I wanted the dinosaurs to get to land. I wanted them to get to America, which they did in the second one, right? And we all know that was a better flick because of it. So, same thing here. Is like I don't want Johnny Five running around some no-name town. Yeah, send him to New York. Have him break dance. Oh, they're making, as a kid, they're making mini Johnny Fives that they're selling? Yes, buy me that. He's hanging out with a fat guy named Oscar. Of course I want to be in this world with Johnny Five.
Oh, you really remember a lot about short circuit
man.
too.
I need a hero.
Oh, Oscar! Bonnie Tyler, dude.
Those were his hands.
Oscar! There you go.
That really was a
There
weird
he goes.
movie. Like I saw
Let
him for the
just
first
go.
time as an adult,
He's
like
going,
a year
he's
or
going
so ago,
code red.
and I'm
Look
like,
at
this
his
is a really bizarre fucking movie. I loved it when I was a kid too, but I was just like, this is a really not
The
even.
first
that
one
good.
is really good. The second one, they just phoned in.
I remember them
Gutenberg
being
didn't want to
equally
be in
good.
it.
but
We're
it's
dumb
been a
kids.
while.
We are dumb
Yeah.
kids for sure.
It's exactly Ghostbusters 1 to Ghostbusters 2 for me. I was like, this one's good. This one is just a shadow of the first one. Because they didn't have Gutenberg. I was so hard up on Gutenberg back then. Because he was in everything in the 80s.
He was great, man. Mahoney.
Like, damn, he was good. Damn, my brain always goes to the most like.
Oh, we're done talking about Short Circuit 2? Because the best part, if you remember, is he's dying when the I need Oscar, and he's going, and then he suction cups.
Jesus Christ.
The wrecking ball. It swings out and gets Oscar, who has the jewels, and they come back, and then he's dying. Oscar's probably dead. An old man with a 10-ton robot. And
You're really something else.
Then
dude.
they're shocking him back to life, and you think he's gonna die.
Yeah.
And then it does that fucking awesome cross dissolve, and we go to this citizenship thing where the Indian scientist, and then it turns out Solid Gold Johnny Five are being inducted as citizens.
Cool.
And Johnny Five's their first robot. Oh, they're
Just like
rebooting that.
Bicentennial Man.
Aren't they rebooting that? That's true.
Just the spiritual successor to Bicentennial
Don't steal
Man.
my other favorite robot that's coming up.
Okay.
Oh my God, Short Circuit. What
So
a what a
you were about to
franchise.
say R2D2.
I was going to say
R2D2
R2D2 and C-3PO are obviously the two most iconic. I don't know if they're my favorite robots, though.
They're
They
droids.
don't really do stuff.
No, I mean R2. He's a G. He has the jetpack scene, right? That's everyone's favorite one.
It does have the jetpack scene.
What's the jetpack scene?
It was in Attack.
It was in Attack of the Clones. It was terrible. He, like,
Why the
flies
fuck do you
around.
have jetpacks then, but not?
Yeah,
Well,
you
he
think
just
that
never
would,
needed
by the way,
them.
that would have come in real handy.
It would have
during
came in
the,
handy.
at the Jabba's friggin' like airfloat, whatever the hell that thing was called, the
skiff.
barge, the yacht,
Yeah.
his baller ass desert yacht. He was like, "Hey everyone, welcome
I'm
to
like,
my
chill.
life."
How did you get on
Airfloat.
that?
I like you say airfloat as if Jabba's having like a fucking parade.
around Sarlacc pits.
Yeah, see, I always was in the C-3PO camp. He could communicate.
Yeah.
He was talking.
3PO's annoying.
Sure.
R2's a much
Everyone
cooler
but
spoke
R2's
droid though.
None of the success that they experienced with the X-Wing, especially Luke or any of the guys Wedge, would have been possible without their R2 units. So,
Sure. But 3PO was built by Anakin Skywalker,
That's
who
true.
had the highest metachlorian count
I fucking hate
the
you.
fucking Gillette Razor Man had ever seen.
I hate you so much.
Annie, how your robot friend do? I hope his face is better than mine.
Oh my god! All right.
I got to give a shout out to my boy Mega Man.
Oh, that is a
Alright
good
then.
one, actually.
Mega Man is certainly the best robot in my mind. His robot dog Rush, his brother Proto Man, and some of the Robot Masters.
His sister Roll.
Magna Man's my favorite. Sister Roll, of course. Special shout outs to IG-88, and also special shout out to the Cylons in the new
Yeah.
Battlestar
gonna
Galactica,
give
both the
them that.
toasters and the numbered versions. The
You
human
can't have
versions.
one without the other. The toasters came first. You got to give them a shout out.
And the Raiders, of course, too.
I'm gonna give probably the most iconic robot in my brain from the '80s, Mr. Optimus Prime.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna throw that
Prime,
out there.
Come on.
Prime had the voice. He had the
Peter
machismo. It's been the same person for.
He's got the touch. He's got the power.
He so has the touch. Prime was the business. I also want to give a special shout out to the Verotech fighter from Robotech.
I don't know
That
this.
thing
I'm
was
not familiar with this, man.
legit. And for all those people out there that like, where Voltron people are in the Gundam camp, sorry, Robotech was better.
Tim, who do you have? You haven't thrown out any names here. I mean, schooled in robot names.
Prime just got jacked.
Yeah.
You guys have been jacking the easy ones. I want to give a shout out to the brave little toaster. Technically not a robot at
He's a
all.
toaster.
But fuck rules, right? He was dope.
The brave little toaster?
Yeah.
From what?
From Brave Little Toaster.
Okay.
Did he have eyes?
Come on, Nick. The fuck? Yes.
Sorry, Kev, should I have gotten that?
Yeah.
Was that a reference I should have known? Mm-hmm. Kev says no. Kev says you're crazy. He said it with his eyes.
Pretty much any of the Transformers that aren't Optimus Prime. They're good.
You guys are all messing up and messing easy. One Terminator.
Oh yeah.
Come on.
Not my favorite though.
What the? See, Terminator.
I was terrified of him as a child. I spent my entire formative
man.
years terrified that someday someone was going to come from the future and not stop until I was dead. That's
But
terrifying.
why would they want you?
I don't know, but that's what's even more terrifying. Is I'm like, you got the wrong guy. I'm not going to be the person that leads the revolt against the robots in the future.
So Skynet was
I'm
mistaken.
the first one to go down. I'm heading straight for a Taco Bell. I'm going to raid that, overeat, die.
Yeah.
Drop. Boom.
Skynet wouldn't make that kind of mistake. So there's more to your story than you even realize.
They
Terminator's
killed like
great
5 Sarah Connors. That's not true. They didn't know which one to do. He kept icing
really
us.
good
in.
point.
That's a good
That's
point.
really
The
good
woman was
point.
like 80 years old. She's not having any kids.
That's a good point, but Skynet didn't have facial recognition; it just had names, and so they had to figure out. They had to go back and figure out. Just kill them all, just to be safe.
That's true.
Makes
Good
sense.
point. They didn't care.
Yeah.
See, the thing that I love about Terminator is how rich the lore is and that mythology of it. And I love the fact that now Arnold Schwarzenegger's still involved in this one. He's in Genesis now. He was also in the crappy Terminator one with Christian Bale though, where his
Terminator
likeness
3?
came and fought things.
Terminator
yeah.
4,
Yeah.
Salvation.
4.
There was the 3 was the one where they recast John Connor and then Claire Danes was in it too, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then,
it's Claire Danes, Nick Stahl, and
4 was
Christina Loki.
Salvation.
Yeah.
It was called Salvation.
Yeah, that was McGee. McGee did that. That was Sam.
Oh, that's
Shout out to
right.
McG.
Yeah, I met him. I went to WonderCon. That must have been like
Mick
2000.
McGee?
Yeah, that must have been like 2008, 2009. I interviewed the whole cast, like Common, Bryce Dallas Howard,
Oh God.
Blood Moon Bloodgood, right? Is that
Yeah,
one?
Moonblood.
McG.
Yeah.
I interviewed that whole
Christian Bale? Was it, or am I confusing? No,
don't
Christian
know.
Bale.
Bale
Christian
was in
Bale
it.
was with
And Sam
Bryce
Worthington
Howard.
was in it. Yeah,
And then
I don't
in
think
the
I
other
interviewed
one,
him. I think he wasn't there.
he wasn't coming.
The
to
other one was
WonderCon?
the Avatar dude.
Sam Worthington.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh right, yeah.
He was the
See
guy.
that I don't
actually
like that
played-
movie, and I wasn't a big. I just like that there's a great mythology here, and I'm excited to see what happens with Genesis, just because I'm a sucker for it. Because when I was growing up, we weren't afraid of the Terminators; we were in love with the Terminators, and that's we would go on camping trips, and we'd have the magazines about Terminator 2 before it came out, and we'd pour over the screenshots.
Was
which
there
is the
like
magazines.
how much like were you like unfolding a centerfold of
Oh
Terminators?
yeah,
Like, what's going on?
Robert Patrick and his fucking
he's just
cop
like-
outfit were like, yeah,
Up against the
Greg was all like,
Oh, speaking of that, fembots.
The Fembots from House of
Fembots are
Powers.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
They're great.
great, cool.
Yeah.
Back to my thing,
Yeah.
with the mythology here we're talking about.
What about the Terminator mythology? Because a lot of people, there's a lot of split camps on the Terminator. You realize this, right? A lot of
No.
people say that the second movie, while amazing,
Yeah.
should not have been made because the story really was wrapped up in the first one.
it was contained in the
sure.
first one, but I don't think that means that it couldn't continue.
And then by the second one, there was a continue. Like it made kind of sense to continue it. They sent another one back. By the end of the third one, though, you're just getting into craziness.
Yeah.
Like they've destroyed everything that would have allowed us to make Skynet in the first place, and then still Skynet somehow of this theory that you can't stop.
no
the future.
fate but what we make.
Yeah, but they ended up. It just was the fate.
Yeah.
They didn't make it.
All we're doing is delaying
They're
the
just delaying the
inevitable.
inevitable.
I
Skynet is
agree
coming.
that after T2 that the mythology of Skynet in particular started to become a part a little bit, because you're right, like there's just so many different ways that they can really kind of go back in time and try to take care of business, and then Skynet doesn't seem so omniscient anymore and shit
Yeah.
like that when it like keeps fucking up.
Yeah.
But I will say I used to, since I was a kid, I would name all my computers Skynet. You know, like when you can name your computer, like even in the 90s, I would name it, C:/Skynet.
My friend,
And I love that. I just was like in love with that name. I was like, that's such
That's
a
a cool
fucking
name.
cool name for
Well,
like
that was the
an
thing. All the
evil
information
computer
was so-
system.
especially too when Schwarzenegger comes back and he's the good guy or whatever. You got to worry about this liquid metal.
that was cool. That was cool.
That scene in the end is awesome.
That was one of the reasons why I mean, aside from it being a really, really, really well made movie, that twist, because originally everyone like there was the rumor that Schwarzenegger was supposed to play the main character, Kyle Reese, and he was like, I actually kind of want to play the bad guy because that sounds cooler. And apparently they were going to get O.J. Simpson to play the main character or the bad guy, and then didn't
Nobody
work out
could
so well
see
for him.
O.J. Simpson kill anybody.
Yeah, they were like, oh, that's what it was. Yeah, they said
unbelievable. Yeah.
they said no
That's a
one could
real
actually
thing.
see that. And then
Wow,
he killed
really?
a bunch of people. Yeah. Apparently.
And he's
people
like, I'll show you.
People were like,
show everyone.
Because at the time, O.J. Simpson was
Yeah.
a national hero.
Uh-huh.
And they were like, nah, no one's going to believe this guy's a bad guy. So that sort of reversal in the second one was amazing.
Well, see,
and to
like,
see
I think-
Schwarzenegger be a good guy.
I
as a
think
bad
I've
guy.
talked to you about it, or maybe I talked to Colin about it because I talked to all of you so much. But I had never realized, again, being a dumb kid at the time, especially in the midst of the marketing machine, reading all these magazines, devouring all the information we could before we could go see it in theaters, like 6 months from that moment, is that somebody wrote recently about it, the fact that if you watch Terminator 2 and imagine you know nothing about it, right? It's totally set up for that to be the big reveal that Schwarzenegger is the good guy. Like they totally blew it out in the tagline for the movie. They ruined the surprise. They ruined it in the trailers. They ruined it in all their pre-press. But the movie was clearly designed and written by Cameron so that when they get to that moment where John Connor's in between Schwarzenegger and Patrick, Robert Patrick. When you're expecting the cop to be the good guy and Schwarzenegger to be the bad guy. And it was going to be this huge moment of him grabbing John Connor and turning around and getting shot in the back and saving him and all this stuff. But that was totally when when Cameron talks to the studio, they're like, no way. We need to get this out front that this is what the story is. And I would have loved to have seen that movie with that lens. You know what I mean? To show somebody who's never seen, knows nothing about him, Terminator 1 and Terminator 2, and watch that reaction, because that would be amazing when you think about it.
But what they did though, what the marketing allowed you to do though, was when you came into the movie the first time and you see Schwarzenegger, there was a just sense of, and only Cameron, and specifically early Cameron, could do this. There was such a tense sense of dread and doom the entire time, so that even when you see Schwarzenegger, you're like, that dude is insanely badass, but this other guy, like, if this guy's this badass and even he can't take this other guy down, like, there's no stopping this guy.
Yeah.
And that's what it was so good at, like, setting up those two characters against each other. At no point did you think Schwarzenegger was going to win. Like, you're like, he cannot kill
this guy's
thing.
liquid metal.
This guy's liquid freaking metal. Like, he can do stuff that no one else can do. So I think that knowing that going in, you're like, you
We
know,
need a dramatic retelling of it where you play the parts.
I would
and that's
totally
how
do
you
that.
like explain it. You're
liquid metal.
Schwarzenegger explaining it to Sarah Connor.
This guy's liquid metal.
This
What does
guy's
that
liquid
mean?
metal. There's nothing he can't do.
This guy literally, he can just form himself into stuff. It's crazy. No, I liked that though. I love that setup, and I love that duality of, like, the guy that was a bad guy in the first one is a good guy in the second one, but even he can't stop. And then you get to the third one, you're like, oh man, this is just
let's stop now.
They should have stopped after 2. Just stop.
Now, speaking of the third one, fembots.
Yes.
Tim Way.
Britney Spears
Was she a fembot?
in the third one.
In the third one, yeah.
God, I never saw the third one. Kim, that's another one. Just stop.
No.
Austin Powers one was so good.
Yeah,
Stop.
it was worth it. Totally worth it.
I
one
want
was
them
the
to
one
bring
where
Austin Powers back.
Now,
Austin
sometimes,
Powers-
now you could totally bring back Austin
I want
Powers,
it
and I'd
back.
be excited and
Yeah.
ready. But like,
I think they're all awesome.
how many? Were there only 3, or was there a
Yeah,
fourth
there was
one?
There's only 3.
So, stick with me. Okay, so 1, obviously, Elizabeth Hurley. 2, Heather Graham.
Yep.
They go back to the 70s. 3, his dad and Beyonce.
Beyonce.
Goldfinger.
Britney Spears in the intro.
I
Gold member,
never watched
yeah.
that.
And his dad was Michael Caine.
Good old
Yeah.
Michael
It was
Caine.
so. Those movies are all awesome. Like those movies are really like really like laugh out loud funny movies. All 3 of them. There's
Which one was the one with
Brilliant.
Goldmember?
that's the third
That
one.
was third.
That one was funny. Just because of him, he's like, I like gold.
Yeah, he's because you like look up, he'd like look up, he'd be like, I like gold. It was just like a weird fucking like character. I was like, I remember that came out in the theater right after I graduated high school, I think, and I was
He just got a little pee-pee.
yeah, I was like the whole tripod joke when he's
God.
Dude, the mole joke. It's impossible to see someone with a mole and not think it, at least.
I like how like off camera like the stick comes on and he pokes the bowl like really slowly off camera. He's just standing there like getting poked in the face with it. It's so
That's great.
I really think the time is right to bring Austin Powers
Yeah,
back.
I agree.
I'm surprised they haven't done it yet. Like
I'm
So
sure
they've
Mike
been like
Myers
talking
is
about it
working
like
on
a
the
million times. Then he put out that Love Guru or whatever.
Yeah, the
that
Love
didn't
Guru.
do too
That
well.
did not
Right,
do
that
well
did
for
And
not
him.
do
then,
well.
yeah.
But Austin Powers would do great. They'd make their money back on it.
Question on this one though: if they did another Austin Powers movie, is Fred Savage in it?
Well, with the mole?
I think you got to bring him back,
Yeah,
right?
I hope so.
I would love for them to bring everyone, like try to bring back as many characters
Yeah.
as possible.
Yeah.
Fat bastard. God damn, that's good.
Yeah, Fat Bastard is the man.
I'm so sexy.
I eat because I'm
dead sexy.
And I'm fat because I eat.
Yeah, I love that. Like the whole thing. He's like, yeah, he's just, I'm like, oh, it's true.
I thought it was I eat because I'm sad.
No, he's like, I eat because I'm fat. I'm fat because I eat.
Yeah.
It's a vicious cycle.
Now you already spoiled it. Another robot you got to bring out: Bicentennial Man, Robin Williams.
No.
Yes,
That's on no one's list.
That is on my list right here.
That is on
Do
no
you
one's list. You were
understand
saying that as a joke.
the organs he
not
made
your fault.
were then put into real people? Like he made people live like 50 years, 100 years longer than they should have, and they were still having sex because he was having sex with his original love's daughter, which was kind of creepy. But when you live forever and you're a robot and you make organs,
wouldn't you do it? You just trade out for a younger model every time.
Well, the original lady didn't like him like that, but then he's like, all right, cool, and then he imprinted on the.
I'm not even sure I saw this movie.
On the daughter.
It was actually an endearing movie. It wasn't as bad as Greg's painting it to be with his.
And okay, you remember Carmen Sandiego?
Of course.
The chief from Carmen Sandiego was like the president of the world, and she's the one who declared him the first robot citizen as he died when his robot organs finally gave out.
It's too late.
Yeah, I know. It
doesn't matter anymore.
Speaking of
what are you doing?
Speaking of taking away shout-outs,
shitting in my face.
Rosie from the Jetsons, she doesn't deserve anything.
She sucks.
She sucks.
She was the worst.
She needs to get out. She needs to stop being.
Why did they not
so
fire her?
Maid-like. They should fire her.
She was a bad.
Can't fire a robot. That's what I learned.
You can't.
Can't
That's
do
what
it.
you learned.
There's
There's
only one thing I know, and it's that you can't.
I just
fire
thought of
a
another
robot.
one. But let's go on down the. Who else you got that are bad robots?
Oh well, that was it for the battle.
The Lost in Space robot was always dumb.
Oh no,
Danger,
he was cool, though.
danger! I don't do anything. Fucking broadcast a signal home. We're lost in space.
help me, robot! Like they're in cryogenically frozen. They wake up like 100 years away, and the robot's just sitting there, and they're like, "What's going on?" He's like, "Oh, we've been going in the wrong direction. We have no idea where we are." It's like, "Why did you fucking wake us up? We're light years away from home."
You guys, you look so peaceful. Not technically a robot, more of a cyborg, but I'm gonna give a shout out to RoboCop.
Yeah, RoboCop.
He's
dope.
like
Robo.
He's 99% Robo.
Yeah.
And
That makes
Ed
sense.
209.
Cop.
That terrified me when I was a kid. Also, the robot from RoboCop 2, the bad guy, that was the most terrifying thing I've ever seen when I was a kid. Because the guy, when he was normal, before he became a giant cybernetic robot, like cut a guy open with a scalpel while he was like strapped to a table, and I was like, that was traumatic to me. So the rest of the movie, he was just the most terrifying thing.
Alpha 5 from Power Rangers. He's a bitch ass motherfucker, but you gotta love him. He's a
I'm
good
not familiar
dude.
with this one.
He says, "I." That's what he does.
What was the robot? What was
That's
the
his
robot
thing?
in the original Power Rangers that helped out?
Alpha 5.
Alpha 5's the one who helped on Zordon?
Yeah.
Was chilling out with like the saucer head?
Yep.
And he said, "Ay, ay, ay."
Yeah. Ay.
He did not say, "Ay, ay, ay."
Are you serious?
That's
That's all he said. No, he said a couple other things. It's all bitch ass things, and then
All
there's
right.
that. Yeah.
Sounds like a Speedy Gonzales impression. More
Yeah,
than
no, I'm bad at doing it. Like as I heard in my head, it sounded better than when I did it. I was like, that's not how he sounds.
Okay.
But he's definitely saying I for
Okay.
sure.
Like that?
Ay, 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 Zordon.
Yeah, kinda. And then the hashtag no spoilers, but the robots in Interstellar.
Oh, no. So
Was-
they
that's it.
started
We
off.
didn't-
I didn't know
let's
there
not
were any
talk about
robots.
it
I
too
haven't
much.
seen it. We're seeing it
I didn't know
in
there
Vegas.
were
Stop.
robots.
Yeah, I didn't know it either.
You know there's a robot.
I didn't know there was robots. I'm not even gonna see the
No.
movie now.
I-
All right, we're not going to spoil it for you.
But they're awesome.
We're gonna go see it on Sunday.
Is it obvious from like seeing the jump that there's robots in this movie?
Seeing the jump?
Is it obvious from the jump, from the start of the movie? That there's
Oh,
robots?
yeah, there's a spot where they just introduce it.
Okay.
You've
So
seen it.
it's not like a big like. There's. Don't even tell me anymore.
I'm
When
not
does
gonna
Bane
spoil
come
it.
in?
I
I heard Christopher Nolan's gonna use him in every movie from now on.
I want to give a shout out that we haven't talked to
Stars
Vicky
are
from Small
rising.
Wonder. Vicky from Small Wonder.
terrifying.
You're, you're way too
Oh,
young.
you're
She was
talking about.
creepy, man.
Yeah, she was creepy, but she could get down, man.
God, Small Wonder was fucking creepy.
Is
Weird
Inspector
ass show.
Gadget a robot?
Are we done
No,
with
he's
Vicky
more
yet?
of a cyborg.
I don't know. It sounded like we were.
Trying to express
There is not
to
much
you
more to
who
say
Vicky
about.
is.
There's not much more to say about.
Like,
Vicky.
Would
did
you
no
watch a
one,
show,
Did
a
no one
sit-
notice that she didn't change clothes?
Would you watch a situational comedy, Tim, as a kid, where there's a family, they have one son, the dad works at a robot company, he makes a robot named Vicky, and they introduced it as their daughter, pretty much, adoptive. Maybe it was a cousin that came to visit. I forget
I
that
think
part
it was
of it.
a daughter.
It was
And
like
so
distant
then-
cousin.
What?
Like, was it like a blood cousin?
Well, it's just a robot they made. This is
But
what you're telling
Does
your
it look
neighbors.
like a robot?
Oh,
Or does
no, it looks like
No,
a
it's a
normal
little girl.
who only wears the same maid outfit all the time.
And her head turns around.
It's a maid outfit.
Sleeps in a closet.
Like a little red maid
Just
outfit.
goes in the closet. Just gets put in the closet.
Okay, I'm not sold.
But there's an annoying redheaded neighbor next door who always is coming over and getting shenanigans.
Don't forget
Well-
about the brother, who was an annoying little brunette.
He was
kid.
annoying as well too. Jamie. Was his name.
Really, really weird kid.
Are you into this?
No.
What if I told you it had a dope theme song?
Then yes.
Small wonder she'll make your dreams come true.
The little maid robot girl is gonna make my dreams come true.
And then she'd wink, but she showed no emotion ever.
Oh,
Like
so
she was,
like
it was fucking
like
It was
crazy.
a
wink.
small wonder that show got canceled.
This
Oh.
kid would eat your head.
She would wink at you, but the wink would be so vapid and dead behind those eyes that it would be bone chilling every time it happened. Like she would wink, and you're like, "This thing is coming."
Yeah.
for me."
Eventually, they
I'm
programmed her
gone, man.
to have emotions and wear normal clothes.
But for like the first season, she was in
No,
this
it's
weird
more than
maid
the
outfit.
first season. Yeah, yeah.
And no one asked,
Vicky.
like, why is this person, like this kid,
And
who's
why is-
dressed as a maid? Is it child slave labor? Like,
She-
what's
she
happening?
sleeps in a closet. They have no idea the whole situation. Like, why is your daughter sleeping in a closet? Doesn't she have another change of clothes? And why does her head turn around like it's the fucking Exorcist?
And why weren't you pregnant ever? I don't remember this kid from the years of 0 to 12.
I think they adopted her. She came in through some kind of aunt and uncle got killed.
some kind of bullshit
They,
story.
they made
concocted.
something up here.
It was just so that they can claim another person on their fucking taxes.
It's like Greg claiming
Yeah.
19 people. Just
Getting
making
no
up.
reward for it.
He's
Though.
going to
claiming
make up this
Portillo?
social security number and see if it works. Kevin wants me to give a quick shout out to HAL 9000, which I don't know if it's a robot so much as a computer, but
AI.
one
yeah,
insidious
that is a
AI.
computer. That's an
Gladys.
Gladys is definitely a robot, I would say, and a computer. It's more of an AI. I mean, where
That's
do
AI.
we draw the line there? You know,
I mean, the brave little toaster was one of my shout outs, so
that's
there
true.
is no
So there's
line.
there's literally no line at all, actually, because otherwise Skynet would be a robot, and Skynet's not a
That's
robot.
true.
It's a computer network.
It's a network.
Fun
in the
topic,
sky.
Tim.
Mega
No,
Man.
it's
Mega
a good
Man
topic.
wins. Mega Man wins.
Who inspired that topic?
House of Robots.
Go there, click there.
Yes.
Watch their show.
Web series. Claymation.
Web series.
Stop motion.
Stop motion claymation about robots. Yes. My topic. Now this is a sequel that we teased last week. And it was Fragile Greg Stories.
Oh, I'm gonna go to the bathroom because I want to be comfortable for this. I'll be right back.
I'll stall while you do that.
Just hum
No,
something.
So it was I'm not gonna hum it. Small wonder. No. So man, I hope there's some shitbag syndication
robot. It's
company
Vicky.
out there claiming rights on Small Wonders content getting uploaded to YouTube.
They gotta get paid.
If there's a Small Wonder collector's edition that came in a little Vicky, I'd buy that.
In a little Vicky.
Yeah. Or if there was a little Vicky that was a USB or hard drive, like anyway.
It's $1 million idea, Greg.
I'm on it. I'm doing it. Me and Nick would buy it. So we're gonna set it up. Last week we were telling stories. We told about Disneyland. We
Yes.
brought up the time that I cried really hard in second grade on Pirates of the Caribbean because there was a little bit of a dip. And this brought up the fact that I was a little bitch kid. And so we were gonna tell you Fragile Greg stories. This is a piggyback in an analog to the fact of you were a tough kid because you had brothers and sisters. They beat it out of you. So there'll be parts there where you can interject with your own stories of how this would have never flown in the Moriarty household. You were a big brother. I don't know how that counts down in the Gettys household then.
Yeah, and he was a bitch.
Still is from what I hear.
Still is a bitch.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, he's a good dude.
And then Nick is the younger brother.
Younger brother, yeah. Man,
Matt.
so we got a lot of different dynamics.
There's some dynamics here.
Yeah.
But now we got to keep stalling until Nick
Now
comes
it's
back.
just Nick's peeing.
Portillo's an only
It
child.
takes a long time to pee because he pees, then he goes to the mirror, and then he looks in the mirror a lot.
He's doing that
Sometimes
thing with his hair.
he pees again.
Stop.
Yeah. It's weird at IGN, peeing with Nick. I like it.
Why is it weird?
I don't know. I just want to say it because I feel like I should say it's weird
Oh.
to pee next to another man, but I enjoy it a lot.
Well, that's the whole thing when people like don't talk there. Well, Nick's
that.
the one who talks to me the most in the
Yeah,
bathroom.
no, Nick is a chatty Cathy
Yeah.
in the bathroom.
Yeah,
And I
just in
love it.
general.
I love
Yeah.
it. It's good.
Oh. I like
Yeah.
Nick.
Yeah, it's
Never tell him to his face.
we
but I
go
like
to
him.
the bathroom together a lot. Like it happens to be that I need to pee and he needs to pee at the same time, and it's fun. Usually we'll have 3 different conversations. We'll have one going in, one while peeing, and then one when we leave. None of them had anything to do with each other. Usually, at least 2 of them had a question that needed to be answered. Didn't answer any of them.
How often do you go to Starbucks together?
Not as much as we used to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been rough lately. But
Jilted lover.
we used to go, I'd say, once every 2 days.
Oh wow, really? I feel like I see you guys out in the street all the time going to Starbucks.
We go to other places, you know.
Oh,
we like
okay,
to
sorry.
spread our
My
seed.
bad. My bad. Ew, that's disgusting. That's not what you want to say.
I hear you, man.
Yeah.
Jesus, Nick, hurry up.
No, we can keep talking.
Yeah,
There's other
he's-
things. Championship belts.
He's going to the kitchen now.
Cat thing over there. Kevin.
There's a cat. Why is there a cat?
That cat thing.
That's
yeah,
Rolo
yeah.
from
Shout out-
Tales of Exilia.
It's rolling
Yeah.
up.
Rolo.
Rolo. That's Candy
Yep. It's also a cat. Cartoon cat.
from.
Also, so there's
Tales of
a
Exilia.
CD there
Yeah.
that says on
New
it,
Year's.
just in Sharpie, it just says New Year's 2008.
Yeah.
I want to listen to that so bad because there's nothing
Now-
better than listening to like finding a random mix CD
Sure.
with Sharpie on it and then listening to it and seeing what the fuck you put
Now
on.
here's the
before.
problem: is that when you showed that to me, I was like, "That's photos." And then you brought it out there and mentioned it, and Cheryl's like, "Why would he want to look at my photos?" And I'm like, "Exactly. He doesn't.
Oh,
he
that's
thinks
weird.
it's music."
Yeah.
I have plenty of random mix CDs.
Stop creeping.
Photos on CDs?
Yeah, well, that's how you did it back in the day when you didn't have hard drives.
I don't know. I skipped that.
Yeah, you didn't. Do you remember a time when the USB like thumb drive wasn't a thing? Is that ever been in your lifetime?
You know, I mean, it definitely was, but I don't remember it.
Zip drives. I had a zip drive. Remember
I forget what a zip drive is.
It was the Omega's. It was like iOmega zip drive. It was the blue. It was like the
big zip drive.
yeah, and it was a 100 megabyte disc that you like would put shit on and then take it out. And
I don't know if I ever had a
I
zip
had
drive.
one for school in high school. That's a deep cut. The iOmega zip drive.
I remember when I went
And then they had what was the one that was better? It was
mini CDs were a thing.
Jazz drive.
Jazz.
Yeah.
that's what it was.
How did I remember that?
Yeah, it was like more
Mini discs.
mini disc. I had a mini disc player and I brought it back because I was like, this is
It was
stupid.
garbage.
I remember going to
they're like
college
this-
and having there was a course for magazine design where I needed a thumb drive, and it was the first thumb drive I ever bought. It was like 248
56
megabytes.
MB,
yeah.
yeah.
It was like, whoa. Because I remember in high school, like when we'd have to send our school paper off to the printer, like you had to put it on floppy disks, like the save file.
Yeah.
And so I'd have to put like 7 or 18 floppy disks on it because I didn't know how to compress
My
images.
life. That's
So,
insane.
yeah, and then send them off that
Yeah,
way.
today we were talking about the PlayStation 2 memory card with 8 MB.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, which it's so weird. I mean, dark times were even USB 1.0, which I don't think a lot of people even remember. Like how fucking heinously slow that was.
Damn.
Because my
I don't
computer,
think I was alive.
my
then.
my computer broke when I was a freshman in college. We had a thing called ResNet, and they'd like fix your computer for free and stuff if you were a student. And I had like 10 gigabytes of music on my. So I had like another tower at my friends, and I just hard connected to them, and it took me like literally like 4 days to get all the music off from like one USB 1.0 to the other. It's like this sucks. This sucks. So slow.
Yeah.
But it was better than not having anything. You fucking 3 and 3.5 inch floppy disks and 5 and a quarter inch floppy disks that were just totally useless.
Yeah.
Anyway,
All right, Nick's back finally.
Sorry.
Ass.
Give me,
Fragile Greg stories.
give me a story of when you cried like a little baby.
Pretty much all of these revolve around that. I went to a fair once, and then you know how they got those big yellow slides that have like little thumbs in. You
Those
get
are
on
terrifying.
you get on the burlap sack. Yeah. I went down it, waited till I hit the ground, sat there for a fraction of a second, just started bawling. Ruined the fair for the whole family. They had to come over, take care. And I'm I don't know, 5, 6.
What's wrong with you?
I don't know. I have no idea, but it
you
was
kind
like
of sucked when you were a kid. Didn't
yeah, oh yeah, big time. This is the Fragile Greg story power hour of sucking. So yeah, that happened. Like that was a big deal. Oh, I'm sorry. And what
was wrong there?
I don't even know. Scared. I was scared of coming
delayed
down, and then
scare?
when I hit there, that's when I started crying. I just probably they said it wouldn't be scary, and then I hit there, and it's like
That
like
happens to you.
it's the fact
Yeah.
of being
You
scared
just don't like lied.
and then hitting. I don't like.
You don't
what?
like being lied to.
exactly.
But assuredly, it wasn't actually scary.
And you hit as a little kid, sure, maybe I don't know. Your butt's coming up and down. You hit the thing there.
That little kids call that fun.
I hit the ground. I was a mix of terror and betrayal that I had to lie. That is have to. Another time, I had gotten new Ninja Turtle shoes. They were white with Ninja Turtle logos on the side.
With the Velcro.
Yeah, of course the Velcro. I didn't know how to tie shoes at this time. And I went to my aunt's house, and she was gardening, and I got a little bit of mud on them. Started crying. And she was the first to be like, she was the
such a
first.
daffodil.
She was the first to be like, you can't do this. You're gonna get eaten alive at school if you cry all the time when stupid stuff like this happens. And I was like, these shoes are new though. I didn't want them to get dirty.
You're
white
just
shoes like a
exactly like
moron.
my wife. My wife is the only person on this planet that keeps her Converse pristine. The second they get dirt on them, she throws them out and buys another pair. I'm like, that is so counterintuitive for what a Converse is supposed to be.
That's so funny though. Like for me, I went through that. I wouldn't even call it a phase. It's like a lifestyle choice of like me and all my friends. Like Jordan's Nike shoes, such a big deal to us. When you get new shoes, it was like you need to like walk like a penguin. Make sure you don't crease those motherfuckers.
You don't want to scuff
Getting
them.
them dirty,
That's
anything like that.
okay. So that's
breaks you.
I get that with a Jordan
Yeah,
or an Air Jordan. Am I saying either of those correctly?
I mean, sure.
It was weird. Number one.
Air Jordan.
But with a Converse, it's a $40 shoe. You're supposed to rip them up. Like they're supposed to look worn in.
And they burn out quick enough
And
anyway.
you like when you can see someone with a brand new pair of Converse, you make fun of them because you're like, you just got a new pair of Converse.
I don't do
You're
that.
such a poser. You're Converse. Like Greg just bought a new pair of like black and white ones about a month ago, and they are like I can see him walking down the street from a different neighborhood. That's how bright they are.
He also bought bootleg Converse, didn't even know it when he was in New York.
Yeah, I
No
got
way.
scammed when I
Damn.
went to New York. I bought bootleg Converse. Yeah, and they started tearing apart way quicker than they should have. Like I have worn Converse. My first pair of laced up shoes ever were red Converse high tops, and I've been with that as my casual shoe pretty much my entire life. Of course, going to Catholic school, they're like, you can't wear shoes you want to wear. You have to be black. And you're like, you suck, and this is why everybody hates you. And so once I got out, though, full on Converse the rest of my life. So I know the proper how they should wear out, where the sole should become bald, when the little metal thing should start tearing away from the fabric. And I bought these at New York Comic Con. And like 3 weeks later, they were starting to come apart there. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Blah, blah. And like, as I was putting them on one day, totally like, I can't believe these suck. Maybe I should stop buying Converse if we're going to be this quality. And I was like, it'd be funny if these were knockoffs. And then I looked at them, and I picked, because like a couple years ago now, Converse, if you noticed, the little plastic part, or not plastic, rubber part of the back, the little backstop, used to just say All-Star. And then they added above it Converse All-Star. And so I had my most recent pair of Converse All-Stars all set, and then I picked up the other one, and they just said All-Star. And I was like, no fuck. And I opened up the tabs on the inside, and they look very close. This is the whole thing. It's like literally you have to know what to look for.
The O is a 0.
No, it wasn't even stuff like that. It's the real logo. Like but like in the inside of the tongue, like there's different information on the tags. There's no UPC, but they made it look like it does have it. It's like, oh my god, like these are really. I bought New York knockoff shoes.
Hell yeah, dude! Welcome
That's
to New
so
York.
funny, man. Like that was a big thing with the Jordan things, is when you'd see people and they're wearing Jordan, like everyone, there was telltale signs that they're fake. Like,
Yeah.
those aren't real. And like then you're a punk ass bitch.
Yeah. See, Fragile Greg would have cried
right
about
now.
that.
You
Yeah,
cried.
I
You cried about the Converse, didn't you?
No, I didn't cry about the Converse.
Like recently.
Yeah, didn't even care.
So it did. Before you tell more stories, when did this stop, or has it stopped?
No, it stopped. I mean, I don't know. You grow up at some point, right? Like,
I guess.
Greg wears his heart on his sleeve.
I do. Now I really only cry when I'm angry. If I'm crying, I'm usually mad at something. You know what I mean? That's really what it is. Like, but yeah, I don't know. There's no like definitive date. Like, like I'm talking about like too. Like when this was a weird thing, and this, just being a dumb kid or whatever, right? Like I think when my first grandparent died, right, and then I'd go to sleepovers, I'd then psych myself out at the sleepover and start crying there and have to go home usually because I'd be afraid my parents would die while I wasn't there. Or something stupid like that. Something weird. And then eventually, and it isn't even so much cognizant.
This is when you were 20, right?
At college, I'm having them come pick me up in Mizzou. And even then cognizant of the fact of like that's what was like freaking me out or making me cry, but that was the thing. I remember I went to a New Year's walk-in at the YMCA or whatever community center's name. Same thing. Didn't even make it to midnight. I'm like, I need to go home. You know what I mean? I had to call my parents to come get me and stuff. It's like, it's this mental block. There was no way to get over.
You must have terrified your parents. They're like,
Oh, they couldn't.
finally,
Yeah, exactly.
he's gone. He's gone for the whole. No, the phone's ringing. He's back. He's coming right back.
Totally. I can only imagine what my parents had to think. The story my mom always tells, and she was telling this story recently, I think when we were hanging out when I was home last time, is that for she says for a year, which I think is exaggerated, but she was the only real adult there, so I'll take her word for it. But like for a year, apparently, I carried her on a bowl because I was afraid I'd throw up. And if you took...
What the fuck is wrong
What is
with you?
wrong with you?
This is the better. It gets better. It gets better. And I carried this bowl because I was so afraid I'd throw up as a kid. And then it turns out she would say, if you take the bowl away from me, I get so psyched up that I'd throw up.
Man, she thought you had some. Well, you did obviously have some problems.
You had
but
some problems.
She really thought that
when
you
were
were.
a kid.
I can only imagine what my parents thought. I'm
That's
just
so
like,
funny though.
just-
And that must
I-
have fucked with you
explains
so bad
everything.
because you're like, you took my bowl, so I threw
yeah,
up.
you're getting what you paid for here, Mom.
What did you do? What was the story you told about how you used to throw things? You would throw things away behind your
Oh no, I'd pee in a cup and throw it behind the dresser.
Right.
Yeah. That's a deep cut off the GameOverGreggy show.
Why would you do that?
I don't remember why that would happen. That's just being. I mean, kids do dumb things like that. This was, and I'm sure
No,
maybe not peeing in a Dixie cup and then throwing it behind your dresser, dumb. But that's what I did. That was in
That's
our
next
old,
level.
Yeah.
that was in
No,
our
that's-
old
that
house.
wouldn't
I
have
was
flown
young.
that wouldn't have flown to the Moriarty.
Well, I
house.
was too sly about it.
My
Nobody could catch me.
mom would have picked up on that, and she would have just beat me like half to death. But like when you say kids do stupid things, like I used to get into rock fights. That's the kind of stupid shit that I would do.
Yeah.
Your stuff is like some weird level of a thing they haven't diagnosed yet. You know, like 20
Miller
years from now, they're
disorder.
gonna go, "Oh, it's Miller disorder." Like
Yeah,
we
yeah.
know about it now. We
Miller
can treat it
disorder.
now.
Yeah.
But you were like, maybe you're doing something great for the.
Man,
for
I'm
the
glad.
world.
I'm glad I'm here to expose it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was a fragile kid. Yeah. I did all these dumb things.
Obviously.
Yeah.
That's
My
nuts.
God.
Yeah.
God bless you.
Yeah.
I tried. I do what I could.
God
Now,
bless
you
you.
didn't. You say none of this would fly, and what did? Is it because you had siblings? Is it because people kept you in line, or you had to keep somebody in line?
No, I don't know. Like, I mean, I did dumb shit when I was little.
Sure.
I do dumb shit now. But like, I feel like, and having a little brother simultaneously made me have to. it didn't make me more responsible. It made me pretend to be more responsible.
Was it like
but
a
I took
power trip
advantage
thing?
of that a lot. I mean, it was easy then to blame things on him and blame just scenarios coming up, being like, well, fuck, I had to take care of him. He was doing dumb shit, even though I wanted him to do the dumb shit. Like, I remember there was one time when it was me, him, and this kid that lived across the street that was his age. And I don't know, we're dumb kids. We decided that we wanted Pokemon cards. So we started circling the block, asking people for bus money. And we're going to collect enough bus money to go buy Pokemon cards because we're fucking horrible people. When I think about that now, I'm like, wow.
You've done some weird, bad stuff.
Whatever.
Bad stuff.
So we were doing it. And then I remember that one old lady was like, the other kid already asked me for this. I know what you guys are doing. I got fucking scared as shit and I ran. My brother didn't run. And she's like, come with me. And she took him into her house.
What?
I've never been more scared in my life. I ran back to the other kid's house and I'm like, dude, what do we do? Like, shit, we got to fucking like...
We gotta break him out.
We got to break him out, yeah. I feel like I'm going on a tangent here because I don't remember what the point of the story was.
It doesn't matter. I
This
don't
is a
care.
great
Now I
story.
wanna-
We ended
100%.
up jumping like hella fences from like two opposite sides of the block to get in.
You Ferris Bueller'd it?
Yeah, we
Where
broke
he was just,
into
like,
the house.
jumping over fences?
What? We killed my brother out of the back and like left. Then so we like saved my brother and that was like the coolest thing I ever did. But we were still scared shitless that this old lady was gonna like call the police.
Yeah, this is
us.
on your block, right? Like this old lady saw you in the
Across the
neighborhood.
street. It was like, yeah, neighborhood definitely.
Yeah.
And so we get back to the house. We're chilling for a bit, and then we were playing Jedi Power Battles on the PS1, and that was good. And then we're like, hey,
That
let's
was
go,
good.
let's go do something else. And we walk outside, and then there was some car. Oh God, this story gets really really bad.
Why would you do these things?
Like
Why would you do
across the street the other way, there was this Korean church, and the people that were there were all like, okay, I'm gonna take church out of it. It was
Korean Community Center.
Yes, exactly. And a lot of the people there were kind of assholes, and they like always got upset with us for us being assholes, probably.
Yeah, you deserve
Yeah.
For being
that.
dumb kids.
But there was this one dude that was like older guy who was probably 17 or something at this point. We were little kids, and his car was parked outside of our house, and he started talking shit at one point. He got mad at us for like playing ball or some shit, and then he went in the thing, and I'm like, dude, we have water guns. Let's just fucking soak his car. We thought it was a funny idea, so we started soaking his car. And then we realized that his sunroof was open. We were like,
oops.
we can fucking water balloon into his car. Fuck that guy. So we did that.
Wow.
This isn't the end.
Was
of the
Kevin
story.
here on
No,
this one?
No.
Because I feel like Kevin would have stopped you guys.
Kevin
from
was
doing
trapped in
this.
the old lady's
So
basement.
there's this kid Riley.
They
God
free him
bless
in
his
Act
heart.
3.
He was like, I need to poop.
Oh God!
No
really?
way.
I was like, do it on the car.
Not in the car though. On the car.
I just sit on the car. He goes. He gets. He stands up on the hood of the car.
In the sunroof.
On the
They
hood
do
of
it-
the car
On the front-
in the daylight.
In the broad daylight. Little kids are so stupid. He stands there, just drops his pants, scratches down, and just starts. I'll never forget his face. He was, he was trying to push that fucker out. And like, it was the scariest moment of my life. The door of the community center swings open. The guy starts coming out. And the fucking nastiest piece of shit just drops on the hood of his car. We all run. And the cops came later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do that when you defecate on someone's automobile.
But again, the
tend to
whole
do that.
thing was.
What did the cops do? You're kids.
Yeah, they just let us go. It was just like
Don't poop on
guys,
cars, kids.
Don't be fucking stupid. Yeah, it was like whatever. But again, it was like, Tim, how could you let that happen? I'm like, they were out of control. They're little kids. I was just trying to make the situation better. So yeah, I kind of got to use that as an excuse.
Gotcha.
So that's me being responsible. I saved my little brother from the crazy old lady though. That's the moral of the story.
What did you ever ask him what she said to him inside the house? What was her plan? Sit here. I'm gonna call the police.
She wanted him. She was like, hey, if you guys want to make money, like you can like clean my whatever, and I'll pay you guys to go do stuff. She was being super cool.
Maybe you don't know. That's people could die down.
Yeah,
in their
she could have
basement,
been
too.
weird.
Takes you to the basement.
She
There's just
definitely could have
chains.
been weird,
She's like,
but-
I need you to just
No, she
put
was
chain
kinda
your hands
nice,
to this
though.
wall real quick.
What's so important in your text message that you can't do
Nothing.
the show? Oh, it's
No.
Kevin.
Kevin.
What a surprise!
Kevin, just
Kevin
say it.
does
What
more
is it,
harm than
Kevin?
good.
Yeah,
on this show lately.
He
I'm putting that out
reminds
here.
us the stuff.
He what?
He reminds us stuff.
He gave me HAL 9000. He said 3000 at first, then he corrected
He's an
himself to
idiot.
9000.
Yeah.
Just kidding, Kev. I love you.
He's an idiot.
I love you, Kev. Don't do the thing and slink
See,
away.
I was always responsible, I think, because I did have an older brother keeping me in check,
Mm-hmm.
and he kept me in check not by being responsible, but by being really irresponsible and then making me clean up after whatever that mess was. So I told the story once where we used to throw parties, and he used to let me party with him, but I'd have to clean up afterward. So no matter how hungover I was, the next day I'd have to wake up and clean the party and stuff like that. He was just brutal to me when I was a kid. Like, he hated me up until the point where I was 16 and could drive and go get him stuff. And then we started to bond, and then we started to party together, and it was fun. But I think I had a lot of those sort of nuances or the idiosyncrasies that you guys are talking about, but my brother just beat that out of me over the span of like 7 years. Like, he used to just torture me because he was way bigger than me. Actually, no, I take it back. The reason we became friends was when I actually grew up and weighed more than him. And the first time he tried to wrestle me to the ground, and I like jiu-jitsu'd him. Like, I just like threw his
Shadow
ass.
boxing
Yeah.
paid off.
Yeah, because I used to do like Kempo, so I'd just grab him, like put him in an arm lock, and he's like, okay, we're going to be cool now.
So
'Cause
really,
I don't know what the hell you
really
just said.
fast. So Kevin is essentially like my other brother.
Yeah.
And he has older sisters. And so that was the closest thing I had
hot?
to like older people.
Answer
Yeah,
the
but your
question.
sister's hot?
Answer the question.
And
Answer the question, Tim.
I don't know who's watching this show. But his older sister
Of course you think that. They're your sisters.
was the meanest human being in the entire world, and she was way larger than us. And she would just sit on us and tickle the living fuck out of us.
That's sexy.
And it was just the fucking. It was
Tell me
the
more.
worst.
that's just so like submissive.
It
Like,
was so scary. But yeah, so I feel like that kind of fucked us up mentally. And so we didn't
you
do
can
shit
see
like
your
that.
hand, by the way, underneath the table. Is this guy? Okay? All right. That made it explicit. No, it's I had a friend whose older sister used to torture him too, and it was bad because he ended up growing up and being like way taller than her, because I mean I think he's like 6'2", 6'3", but there's still that like psychological damage that had been done from like ages 0 to like 12, where she was bigger and could pick on him, and it was compounded by the fact that it was like even more humiliating that your older sister was doing it, because at least my brother was like as a guy, so it was not quite as emasculating as like if it were a sister. Anyway, yeah, my friend, he grew up and it still has that chip on his shoulder to this day.
Yeah, it makes
He
sense.
flinches every time sister comes over.
I flinch every time anyone goes behind me. Have you ever noticed that? I do that. I think I've weeded it out of my psyche. My brother, every time, without fail, would slap me on the back of the head when he'd walk behind me. So I used to, like, if anyone would come behind me from like the time until I was like probably 23, 24, I'd have to keep them, and then like they'd move, and I'd just switch and like pick them up on the other side.
Yeah.
It's terrifying, man.
Yeah.
Matt, follow him on Twitter. He loves it.
What's his name? Scarpino Man?
The Scarpino man. Yeah.
That's a good name too. Colin,
Yes.
what's your topic?
So we're gonna close out the show. First of all, I just want to show off my championship belt.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd you get that from again?
For Monopoly.
How many games did you win?
The
Then?
Intercontinental
I won
champion.
4-2. I almost swept him,
Almost.
but he came back. I won the first 3 games. And
It's
also,
the first annual Black Friday. First off, you can't have a first annual because we did. We'll be back for the second annual next Black Friday.
and I also want to just give a quick shout out to Noah's Mill. We were there.
Bourbons?
At Willett in Kentucky. Excellent. It's a $50 bottle of bourbon. This is a really good bottle of bourbon. It's very nutty. Very good. So I recommend it very much. So I want to talk a little bit about TV. Now, Greg, you and I have been talking about TV lately, about maybe lessening our phone, or our TV cable kind of bill.
Getting out of this Comcast racket.
Yeah, because it's just too much. It's just a
Right.
little much for me. And I was thinking that I was talking to my buddy Mike about this back home when I was home in October in Long Island. That part, and Ramon too. That part,
Ramon.
a part of the reason that I like having TV, like cable, is just I just like knowing it's there, which is really weird. I barely ever watch TV.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that one.
I'm just like, oh, it's there, and
comforting.
it's like I'm not gonna be bored today, like at least that badly, because I have TV.
But isn't it shitty though? Because the second you turn it on, if there's not a sports, like a game or like a good movie for me, then you're even more bored. Like, I search through 100 channels and there's never anything to watch.
Yeah, it's true.
With the exception of 2 nights ago, for some reason I was like, I can't turn my brain off. I've got anxiety. I'm nervous about the week, whatever. I got to watch something decent to turn my brain off, and the only thing on was Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull.
Oh,
So I watched that with commercials for like an hour and a half.
Let me go, Indy. This is what I want.
It's the worst.
Knowledge was a treasure.
So I remember just we can talk about that another time because I remember I saw that movie. I was here when it came out.
Yeah, we all go together?
Yeah, but I saw it with my dad, and my mom first when they came and visited me, and I was just like, "Fuck, the fuck was that?" That was just awful. But so I was thinking about it, and I was like, Greg and I like to keep it, especially me. I like to keep it for live sports. But even then, like, I have the NHL package and I have the NFL package, so I can watch the Jets and the Islanders. But I just like watching live sports and having that kind of thing. But I was thinking, like, what if we got rid of it, and then if you could just kind of have a la carte or just have one channel, what would it be? If you could only have one television channel,
one channel to rule them all.
right? What? Just one channel.
See,
what would that channel be?
Easy for me. That's easy.
What are you gonna say?
FX. Because they're always playing
FX.
Fast and Furious.
Oh.
There's like a Fast and
it's-
Furious movie
it's
always
damn
playing on
good.
FX. Also, yeah, either them or ANC, I would say. Probably FX.
Yeah, you gotta make a pick. You're making your pick.
I'm going FX.
All right,
They
go on
always
FX.
have. Every time I turn on, I'm like, Gone in 60 Seconds. Okay, I'll watch that movie today.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, it's similar to what you're talking about. When I turn on the TV to watch something, the first thing I do is open DVR.
Yep.
Because I don't watch that much TV, and I usually let it all stack up. So I just have a handful of shows that are in there. Those are what I want to watch. And then if there's not a sport, and I'm even more picky with sports, where it's really got to be a team that's one of mine. Bears or Mizzou, right, for me to really care. Otherwise, it's just background noise, and I'll watch it and hang out and enjoy watching Peyton Manning do whatever. But it's whatever I can do without it. And so for me, when we do drop cable, we're gonna drop it after the NFL season. Then we'll be done with it. And I'm just gonna buy all my shows piecemeal. You know what I mean? The ones that I need to get or want to get. So like Walking Dead, Arrow, Flash, stuff like that. Now, but to talk about what the one channel, if I could only have one channel the rest of my life, that's what we're saying.
Yeah, I mean, indefinitely. I don't know.
In the indefinite future, I would say HBO. And AMC would be really close. I love Mad Men and I love Walking Dead. Those are two shows I don't miss. You know what I mean? I try to watch those as soon as I can to be part of the
Well,
conversation.
Mad Men's almost over though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Walking
And
Dead.
Walking Dead will never end.
Exactly. But it's just good for me. But HBO, I feel like, it's the spectrum of content. It's the Pinkerton of content. There's something for any mood I'm in, especially because HBO Go then has everything at my fingertips. I can watch everything. I can watch Sopranos. I can watch whatever I need to get into. But even HBO ongoing seasons, I love Newsroom. I'm so glad it's here. I'm sad it's its last season, but I'm glad it's going to end on a high note.
Okay.
It'll end before I hate it. It happens.
It'll end before it becomes. It lives long enough to see itself become the villain.
You got Game of Thrones on there.
Yep.
You got awesome documentaries. They're amazing
Really good
documentaries.
documentary. That's true.
They
There's
do
like
good
30
There was the
30
Jay-Z
days.
Beyonce concert.
There's that as well, which I was not aware of, but now I am.
good.
There's the Real Sex if I need to get that out of my system.
that's a great
I mean,
show.
on HBO Go, all weekend I was watching the HBO Go and they're catching up on Newsroom and seeing how it's going. And then I at one point clicked on series, I thought, but then I moved or something. I guess my fat belly hit it, and it clicked on the late night tab, and then there was all sorts of sex shows on there I didn't even know about. And I'm like, well, once I'm done with Newsroom, I got to investigate this.
Yeah.
I think there's enough stuff. You got the John Adams on there. I never finished the
John
John Adams series.
John Adams, so
Oh,
good.
it's so
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
Wait, did you backing up to the adult section?
Yeah.
Is it Gigolo?
Let's unpack that.
Have you seen this?
J-Lo?
Gigolo. There's a show about I saw like one episode of it. It was about male gigolos, like male escorts. It is
Bigelow?
the funniest thing. Now I'll look it up. You
Is it
guys
a
talk amongst
documentary or is
yourself.
it a sexy thing?
No,
where
it's like
they're
I think it was a
showing
Showtime show actually.
Well, then that doesn't. Why would
I'm
I
sorry.
find that on
I
HBO Go?
Kevin, can you look that up for me? Showtime Gigolo shows.
Google Gigolo.
I don't know. See,
Gigolo shows.
If you'd asked me spell Gigolo with a G. If you'd asked me 2 or 3 years ago, I would have said 100% HBO. But really, the only thing that I look forward to on HBO is Game of Thrones.
What about the Newsroom?
I don't like the newsroom.
Oh, you suck.
I think it's so Sorkin.
Yeah, that's what I was
damn
going to say. It is
Sorkin.
so Sorkin to the extreme.
Like every conversation, the camera kind of dies and slow, and that person just has this monumental thing to say.
And it's
I'm like,
awesome.
I can't get it.
No one
I'm sorry.
talks like that.
No one talks like that.
Who the hell cares?
We
No
work
one's
in a newsroom, and no one's sitting there like, I know, gamers' rights.
First
No, it
off,
doesn't.
no, we don't work in a newsroom. Real quick, I'll put a pin in that. Like that's
You don't need to put a pin
That's
in it.
one of those
We're
things
good.
that for me is one of the things I love the most about newsroom is that those are the kind of conversations that were happening to me in classrooms and stuff, right?
Okay.
And then to see those kids go off to do that kind of reporting and stuff, it's cool to see this idealized world where
Yeah.
that's happening. They're fighting
other
for First
timeline.
Amendment rights. Yeah, exactly. Not that I would have ever shown up there, you know what I mean? But like,
You would have been in Game of Thrones.
just to see, oh yeah, totally.
See, I don't know. I mean, other than that, I tried watching Leftovers. Couldn't get into it. It was weird. So there's nothing. And the problem with HBO is now that there's so many other competitors in the space that are vying for those licenses for those movies, they don't get like all the movies. They don't get as many movies I think as they used to get. There's still a
I
ton of them.
never. I mean, you know me in movies. I just
Yeah.
never watch movies.
See, I used to love, and I still do. If I don't have HBO anymore, we're getting it when Game of Thrones comes back, and then we're immediately canceling it. So we'll pay for it for like 2 months, or we'll just probably grab my mom's HBO Go account and call it a day.
You gonna play the HBO or the Game of Thrones video game?
Am I gonna play it?
Yes.
I kind of want to, but see, I feel bad. Does that make me a poser?
No. Why? You like
'Cause
the show?
I didn't play any of the other like Telltale games.
No, nobody.
like
cares.
Game
That's
of
not how that
Thrones.
works. Yeah, that's not how that
Just
works.
put another. I don't want to start
Like,
playing.
if you play
this is really good, and then I'm gonna discover The Walking Dead and go, wow, guys, have you played
But
this
if you,
game? Like, and
if you
yeah,
play Game of Thrones and then go, well, Telltale's the best developer of it, then you'd be opposed.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have any history.
okay.
You didn't play Jurassic Park. You weren't there.
Sadly, no. Oh god, the Jurassic Park trailer. You just reminded me of that. It was bad.
We'll unpack that on the.
Yeah, we're gonna have to unpack that. That's gonna have to be its whole separate subject. We're gonna have to do it at some point.
Man.
A trailer.
People have been fighting me that was a good trailer.
No.
My real
Let's not-
friends. Go
let's
fuck you guys.
let's not
I don't
even-
like
No
any
Jeff
of you.
Goldblum. No buy.
No, HBO's good, but I have had now having lived without HBO for the last 6 months since Game of Thrones was on. Whenever the last
Game of
season
Thrones
was.
is only on for 2.5 months.
Yeah, so I don't need it anymore, and honestly, it's probably I unfortunately have this weird thing where if there is a movie on that I've seen or am even remotely interested in because I'm catching it in the wild, where I'm like, oh, I didn't choose to watch this, I'll sit down and watch it, and it's a huge time suck. Which is why I kind of like FX, because what I end up doing is recording them more often than not, watching 5 minutes and then never watching them again. Like I'll be like, oh, Gone in 60 Seconds on. I'll hit record. I'll watch 5 minutes of it. I'll never go back to it. My wife will eventually wipe it off my DVR and I'll totally forget about it. So for me, it's all about.
So it's gone. in
This
60
goes into a
seconds.
deeper psyche of mine.
Yeah.
It's my story of my life
I
in
agree.
college.
I agree.
You were
My,
gone in 60 seconds.
I used to go in 60 seconds. Yeah,
Oh,
maybe
man.
30 seconds. Sometimes it was a bad day.
So why
If
do
I
you
had
take so long to
Starbucks.
go?
You got to think about other things.
Are we talking about sex or pooping?
Sex.
Okay,
Colin, what's your
just
channel?
making sure.
I think that I bounced some things around in my head. Really thought carefully about the question, and I came up with ESPN.
I figured.
Just because I get a little. I love sports, but I was thinking like, would I want a political channel like MSNBC or Fox or something? No, because I can just. I'm satiated with the internet on that. I like reading, but with PTI and Around the Horn and Mike and Sports Center, and then you get Monday Night Football, you get baseball games, you get basketball games, you get hockey games, college football. I don't know. Can't really go wrong.
There's something on there at all
Yeah.
points.
See,
That's interesting.
I think that's a really good choice because unlike like Greg and I have the opportunity to get on our respective channels, like I can get that movie anywhere I want, right? But you can't experience live sports the same way in DVR, like if you're watching it after it's happened, right? Like
Right.
you kind of want to be there live for it. So if you're going to invest in something like a channel that is about live programming, I would say ESPN is the best way to do it.
And ESPN is just a really the thing about ESPN to me, and I don't know how much you guys watch, probably not very much, is I just think that's a really impressive channel.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
think
that's the
that
thing. Like it's I don't watch it at all, but just as a video guy and a guy that understands video, respects video, like interested in what other people are doing, ESPN is like the standard.
I respect video.
Oh, they're like they're like the pinnacle. Of
Yeah,
what
exactly.
You can
Like,
accomplish.
they're- all of their shit is just on point.
I was at Trace Agave's today.
We just call it Trace now.
Oh, is it just Trace?
Yeah.
Because no one knows what agave is.
Well, we all know thanks to Entourage, an HBO show.
He makes the agave tequila.
Right.
It was that turtle.
Yes.
The depth of my
Entourage
knowledge
knowledge.
knows no bounds. No, I was watching, and ESPN was on, and we sat there for about an hour and a half, and I guess that was enough time to go through a couple programming, a couple shows. I think we caught the tail end of one, saw another, and then saw another, and I'm like, their production value in what they do is radical. It is like there was one show that I saw, and you probably know exactly which one it is, where their desk is a TV. So they have an overhead shot of it, and they can telestrate on top of it, and you can see what they're like. Okay, this is what's happening here, here, here. I'm like, that is so fascinating. I don't even like sports. I don't like football. And they cut back to the wide shot, and what he's telestrating is happening on this other monitor that's, of course, an LED and programmable and all that stuff. And they must spend millions of dollars. Someone was telling me, I think Dave Toole was telling me that all of ESPN's infrastructure, all the stuff they edit with, all of their program, all the stuff that powers their content, where we have Avid or Adobe Premiere, it's all proprietary. One company makes it for
Really?
them. Yeah, and it's like it's custom and it's for everything they need to do. And it's like apparently like their pipeline is just totally custom. That must cost millions, but they have the exclusive rights to
Disney
sports, and it's like,
Yeah, I mean,
Disney don't.
they're to me just a really fascinating company, and I don't understand production like that or whatever. I just know that their stable of shows just don't ever go anywhere. They have like some shows that are throwaway shows that are on like in the middle of the day or whatever, like in between Mike and Mike and like Pardon the Interruption. But when you hit that like 3 or 4 o'clock and you go all the way to midnight, it's like just the standard of how like things are reported and in sports and buffered with Sports Center, and then usually a primetime game, and then more Sports Center, and like the personalities and all that kind of stuff. I'm really impressed with them. Like what I want, like, you know, obviously we do games, and at IGN we do, you know, our silly stuff here on Kind of Funny or whatever. Like they're really what I want to replicate in terms of, you know, how they do content. You know, like, because like I really feel like they are the standard, not only for sports but really for everything. Like that's why, unlike in politics or other things, like they dominate their field. And it's really weird that like with something like sports, which is so big and so vast, that they just fucking dominate it. Like no one gives a fuck about Fox Sports. No one cares about NBC Sports. No one gives a shit.
right.
You know, like ESPN is it.
That's
and it's,
crazy.
you know, and
It's
like
crazy they don't have
for
like
30
a
years. For 30 years. You know,
Someone made
like
a
it's not
smart
no
move
one's
back
ever
then.
no one's ever come in and like threatened them at all. You know? Usually like
Comcast Sportsnet.
like MSNBC and Fox and CNN, they all vied at different times for the top. Fox is killing them now, obviously, for years, but that wasn't always the case. But like ESPN is just like, if I were them, I'd be like, I'm not even worried about what our competitors are doing. Like we obviously have better ideas, and we're just better at what we do, and I think that's really neat.
Let me ask you this question: if someone offered you, they said you're going to quit doing this podcast, you can never do this podcast again, but we'll give you a show on at the worst hour on ESPN with another guy named Colin, and you had to call it Colin and Colin.
Yeah.
Would you do it?
Yes.
Collins with Colin and Colin.
Yes, that was the idea for me and Colin Campbell to do a show called Colin with Colin and Colin.
I just think Colin and Colin's really funny because it's like,
yeah.
Mike and Mike.
Oh my god, that would be awesome to have an ESPN show. Are you kidding me?
What would you do? Would you talk? You
Hockey.
can only talk about hockey though.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. They used to have a show called NHL Tonight with Barry Melrose.
You also have to talk about field hockey though,
That's fine.
the
They're
show.
totally different sports.
and lacrosse.
I love lacrosse. I'm from Long Island.
Damn,
Of course
I
we
can't
love
get him
lacrosse.
at all.
And
He
Tom's
loves
all
sports. Trying to trip you up here, buddy. It's not working.
Oh, lacrosse is like, with the exception of football, like the second biggest thing on Long Island in terms of sports. It's
And
fucking
highlight.
huge.
You also have to talk about highlight.
Highlight's huge also where we're from.
What the shit?
What
Where are
is
you
highlight?
from?
What is highlight?
So highlight is especially big in New England.
Really?
And yeah, highlight is the game where you play in, indoors, and it's with the I don't even know what you call it, but it's you hold the stick and then it's like the curve.
Oh,
what
okay,
the
I know what it
hell?
is, I know
Really?
what it is.
And you like the ball.
It's super dangerous.
Yeah, it's a really
Shit.
fucking balling
people,
ass sport.
People like die.
I only know that because
highlight.
of Jackass when they would when Steve-O would run and people would just fucking
Yeah.
throw the shits at him.
Yeah, highlight is like a legit. I think people. I could be wrong. I think people in New England gamble a lot on highlight, but
Really?
I could be wrong. But if you drive up towards Boston, between New York City and Boston, there's like huge highlight places people play.
God, I want to go play highlight.
Interesting.
I think it's an. I don't want to say it's related to lacrosse, but it's just one of those weird sports that is I think very native to the Northeast and like the North, like where like no one plays lacrosse in Texas. You know,
Very
but, like
often
everyone,
people
but
play
everyone
lacrosse
grows up
here.
playing lacrosse on Long Island. Everyone grows up playing lacrosse and hockey in Massachusetts or whatever. So
God.
it's just lacrosse is fucking awesome. That's a great sport. People don't really know or appreciate lacrosse because it's just not a very common sport.
It also
But
just
that's a
doesn't look
real-
very hard.
It's really fucking hard. It's
look
hockey
hard.
on foot. It's brutal, dude. Like the goalies. So you ever held
But you
a
carry the ball.
You ever held a lacrosse ball?
No.
They're really heavy. They're like really fucking heavy and dense. And the goalies in lacrosse have so much the balls was huge because they don't wear like in hockey. I was a goalie in hockey, and you throw any part of your body in front of the puck to stop it, and you don't feel it. It doesn't hurt. And in lacrosse, you don't wear anything. You wear a helmet, and then you have a stick, and the goalie just has a bigger stick, and they have to stop the ball with their stick, and the ball is going 100 miles plus an hour. So like
Sports are stupid,
if you
man.
throw your leg or something in front of that, you're gonna just break your shin. Like they're just gonna fucking destroy your shin. So like, dude, lacrosse is Major League Lacrosse, which is the professional sports league for lacrosse. Is if you ever catch a game, they show something. If you just see it on your channel thing, or whatever, like just tune in and watch. It's on like Fox Sports or something. Sometimes it's fucking hard as
They're
hell,
always
dude.
doing this thing with the stick. What is that? What is that for?
It's
gotta
it's
reposition.
Intimidation.
It's you're like dribbling the ball, whatever, and then you're protecting it too. You know, because people can just hit your stick, cross check you, and not, like it's really very similar to hockey. You know, frankly, water polo is very similar to hockey too. It's just like that. It's a very similar, like 2 goals, goalies, defense, offense, neutral zone, zones. Those kinds of sports
the
are
neutral
like
zone.
The neutral zone, yeah.
That needs to be a
Those
show.
kind of sports.
Favorite
I knew
zone.
a guy that played water. The one sport I always wanted to play that I never got to play was because this just wasn't a thing where I was from. Is water polo. That game is fucking rough. That game
Water
is
polo's hard.
dude. That's a really hardcore game. I didn't even really realize until the Olympics, like in the '90s, like watching it or whatever, and just watching it on TV. Like that game's fucking crazy.
Oh yeah.
Like first of all, what they're doing to each other underwater is like heinous.
Second only to Marco Polo.
Exactly, Marco Polo.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like they're swimming, like they're not like they're just swimming constantly, and then they have the arm strength to toss a ball like 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And like it's just an incredible.
They do this.
It's an incredible
And they
sport.
throw it.
Intimidation.
There's a new show on cable called Marco Polo, and I was watching it. And I saw a preview for it, and no one else was in the room, and I made a Marco Polo swim joke.
To
I was
yourself?
like, I don't remember that being part of the game,
Fish out of water.
and no one was around to laugh at that stroke of genius that came out of my mouth.
Marco Polo was a great game.
It's a great
I used
game.
to like thinking I was pretty good at it.
I never cheated.
Oh, I didn't
prided
cheat either.
myself.
Look
I always
at Colin. Of course, Colin would think he's pretty good at Marco Polo.
I always kept a hand in, man. I always kept that hand, and there was always part of me that was in. I never cheated.
Were you the kind of guy like that would fuck with the person that was going to like you'd swim underwater and grab their leg?
Yeah,
and do
100%.
shit like that.
100%. If it was
And,
a
like,
yeah,
fuck with them.
I like
I'd
how
blow-
happy you are thinking of this memory of fucking with people.
Well, because I had an indoor, I had an in-ground pool when I was a kid, and we used to play all the time. And there's so much space,
yeah.
time and space to play. And Marco Polo is a game of fucking. That's not a game of chance. That's a game of fucking pure talent.
That's pure talent and skill.
Pure talent, Marco Polo.
Man.
Because if you get out of the like, you have to like sneak up the ladder and wait, and then like kind of slowly walk and then you do something stupid like jump off the diving board and like do like a cannonball and like fuck could have gotten you, like
Yeah, could have fish out of water.
yeah. Oh, it's such,
Oh, I was a
such
master
great-
of that. I would listen. I would
That should
just
be an
wait
Olympic
in the middle of the pool and everyone would stop and I would hear the footsteps. I like fish out of water. Like, God,
New shirt you need to start working on is Long Island Marco Polo champion.
wow, I like that.
Yeah. Tim.
Yes. So I don't watch TV, just period, at all. I watch Game of Thrones, but
really
I don't
don't
watch
watch
it on TV.
TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only time I ever watch TV is it's stuff I either just download because I want to watch it like Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
or it's when I'm on an airplane.
Mm.
And I just, you have to watch something. I'm flying to fucking New York, and it's just like, great, I have 5 hours and have to watch
But you
shit.
love
Well, you got your
TV.
Vita. You got your Vita you could play.
You like Boy Meets
I don't
World.
know
You like
Vita.
Power.
You
You
play
like
Freedom Wars.
Powerpuff Girls.
What's up? Yeah.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, rather.
Yeah, Mighty Morphin Powerpuff Girls. They're cool.
They're cool.
But see, that's the thing. So Cartoon Network, Disney, Nick, I would never choose any of those three because they're not consistent enough. There's way too much shit on those channels compared to the few shows that I like. I feel like the two that I would have to shout out are Comedy Central, which I also don't think is consistent enough. There's more shit at any time when I'm watching that channel where I'm like, I don't care about this.
Yeah.
There's a couple standouts that I'm like, wow, this is amazing. South Park. But
how-
besides that, it's like,
Well,
whatever.
let's do this then. I'll change Colin's topic just for you. If you could only watch one YouTube
No.
channel.
That's a whole other topic. That's a
Oh,
whole
okay,
other
my
thing.
apologies.
Because my thing here
Show's
is-
over, everybody.
I do have an answer. My answer.
I mean, I guess
My
Tim's
God.
hosting now, right? Is Tim hosting now? I thought you were the host of the Game Over.
I guess
show.
it's now the Tim Gettys
I guess
show.
Tim just
Let
gets to
Tim host.
define content on this channel.
MTV gets a lot of shit for not
16
being about
pregnant.
for not being about
16 and
music
16.
anymore. But
It's
the thing
never.
is,
It hasn't been about music
16
since I was a
That's
kid.
that's such an old complaint.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's like that's so not even a thing anymore.
It's like a 15-year-old complaint at this
And
point.
I feel like there's a lot of shit on MTV. Like there's a lot of garbage. Do not get me wrong. But more often than not on the airplanes, I'll turn on MTV. I'm like, I'm entertained by this. Like there's like a show called Awkward, I think it is. And I'm like, it's a sitcom style show about some girl in high school, and it's funny. I like it a lot. Never watch it outside of planes, but I enjoy it. I guess I happen to never watch it when it is 16 and pregnant or any of those fucking teen pregnancy shows.
They still do True
That's
Life?
the lowest they've done there. 15, 14.
I
don't know if
I'm
they
a
do True
guy
Life
yet. I don't
anymore.
know.
No, but anyways, I don't know about all that. But like True Life, when it's just like a random, essentially documentary about people.
Those
that
are
do weird
cool. True
things,
Life documentaries
those
are really good.
Every once in a while, there will be music video, like countdown style stuff. Not TRL, unfortunately.
Carson's holding out for too much money.
Yeah, I mean, well, again, if I could choose one channel to just live forever, it would be like late 90s, early 2000s MTV. So just like during spring break.
Like right on.
Oh
this.
my
Specifically during
God.
spring break when they're in the Keys and they're just, oh,
Those were.
God.
Do they still do that?
They do, but it's just like,
That was a great
That's
idea
insane.
back in the day where they were
Yeah.
like spring break, and it was, by the way, it would be spring break for like a month.
Yeah, and then
And they would
Cisco's
just-
hosting.
Yeah, Cisco.
Here's
Cisco,
a dumb fashion show for no reason. It's just bikinis.
Yeah.
It's like, ah!
Or like randomly, you're like, "Is that Bill Bellamy?" It is Bill Bellamy. And you're like, he's like climbing a rock like wall, and he's like, "Hey, I'm part of the climbing community."
There was a show they used. God damn it! Nick. There was a show that they used to do like karaoke stuff where like they'd have like hot girls in bikinis go and just sing songs. It's like, why are you singing
That's
Linkin
fun.
Park songs?
Yeah,
right now?
MTV was weird just in the 90s and I mean, I loved like the Singled Out era and
Singled
Rock and
Out.
Jock and all that kind of stuff.
Rock and Jock, yeah,
What
the
was Singled
50-point
Out?
basketball basket. That you remembered. It was hosted by Chris Hardwick, who doesn't age, and then it was Jenny McCarthy.
Wow.
And he's
And it
like,
was-
I
that
have
was Chris
50
Hardwick?
single girls and 50 single guys.
Do you
We
remember
take
that
one from the
No.
group. And
Oh,
then
that
they
was a great
pin
show.
ours. Yeah.
That was a fucking great show. I mean,
That's
that really
so
epitomized MTV in
Was
the
anything
early
like
90s.
Next?
That was Chris Hardwick.
No, it was
I
not
don't
like
know.
Next. It was not like Next.
The thing about MTV though is like,
Well, I guess it kind of was.
as it gets later in the night, like at like 11:30, they'll start playing. Like I feel like every generation has the same show, just with different things.
Yeah.
For my generation, it was the show called Undressed.
Yes,
Oh, yeah,
I remember
Undressed is
Undressed.
awesome,
Yeah.
Holy shit! Like that show taught me everything I ever needed.
Yeah, that
to know
show was
about
really-
sex and
that sh-
sexual encounters.
That
which
show
is
was
probably
really
why I'm
deep.
so fucked up.
My favorite late night MTV show, which is long dead, I'm sure, was 120 minutes.
Oh,
I don't know if you
yeah.
guys remember that show. That was
I
like,
remember
it was
120
it was on from like the late 80s probably to the late 90s or early 2000s. It was on at like Sunday nights at like 1 or something like that, and it was just all like hard rock music for like 90 minutes for 120 minutes. It was
Headbangers
90
Ball?
minutes after
I
commercials.
don't
Headbangers
remember
Ball was
any of
rad
that
too.
stuff. I just remember
That
the real
surprised
world.
me that you don't remember 120 minutes.
I don't remember that. I remember the
Oh,
Road World,
God.
Real Worlds,
And the fucking Real Road Rules challenge.
Which I was like,
See,
crossover. This is
And
awesome.
that shit, yeah, but that shit got to the point where it's fucking stupid, where they were just doing the gauntlet and all this dumb shit.
Yeah, that was
What?
Being a fan,
Stupid?
yeah.
Gauntlet's amazing.
Being a fan of, I was around. You understand, you whippersnapper. When season 2 of Real World was my first season of Real World, and I was there for
Was that
season
San
1
Francisco?
of Road Rules. No, season 2 was
LA?
the yeah.
That was the LA when the guy got kicked off for like.
yeah.
ripping the
David
thing
got
out.
kicked off. Yeah, yeah. John the country star.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, wait, what was season 1 of Real World then?
San Francisco probably. No.
No, then
No. It was Seattle. Seattle was season 1, I think, and then San Francisco was season like 3 with Puck. And,
Yeah, no, I'm sure. Now I'm questioning what the first season. Maybe that was the first season.
No, Seattle was definitely. Or there was like grungier was the first season. I'll look it up. You talk.
Anyways, and then I remember when Road Rules first started, and they had in the first season of Road Rules, they had a mission to go to the Miami house and like switch out, like pull a prank on the and that was awesome. And then later on, they had a crossover episode in the next season, and that was cool. And then they just kept mutating it to where then they were just doing gauntlet things for like no reason anymore.
No, man. I feel like once it became an actual show where it was like a challenge between people and there was different teams and all this stuff. That was,
That was
the
too
best.
stupid. It was better when it was just dumb.
No, I love that.
I mean, I got to give props to MTV just for they certainly didn't invent the reality show, but Real World and Road Rules were really the epitome of and the prototype
Yeah,
of
they really were.
before Survivor. Really, they were really the ones that Survivor and The Mole and like some of these really early
Mole
some of these
is
really
so good.
Yeah, that was Anderson Cooper's like earliest shit. But like they really invented like what we identify today as the reality show, and reality shows are everywhere still. I mean, I thought that they would have gone away by now, but by the time Survivor came out, which I think is the epitomizes the last 15 years of that shit. I mean, they've been doing it for years.
People still watch that, by the way. I've seen tweets recently of like,
CBS.
oh man, I'm catching up with Survivor. I'm like, really?
CBS
Holy
doesn't
shit.
stop, dude. Like they still have Big Brother and like all this and fucking what's the one where they're traveling?
Amazing Race.
Amazing Race. Like they just won't stop.
Amazing Race is like just YouTubers now. Like literally just like random. There's always a YouTube team. I'm like, what the fuck?
It's so weird. It's just weird that like they're all about like their shows. They have new shows, but I mean
You're shit at the internet. New York.
Dude,
New York.
Thank
was
you.
the
I
first.
was like, I cannot find this.
New York was season 1.
that makes sense. Since
Yeah,
MTV's in
and then it was Los Angeles. Then it was San Francisco. Yeah.
When was Seattle?
Seattle was.
That must have been way later.
Seattle was season 7.
Wow. Because they went back to LA at some point. Then they went to.
Well, they went back to New York. Then they went back to New York. I mean, obviously
Season
by
10,
coincidence for 9/11, they were there for that. Yeah, and then they went to Chicago.
Chicago was a good one. I remember that.
I mean, I was like hardcore into Real World and Road Rules for quite some time. Starting, yeah, I
Did
was.
you cry when you watched them?
No, I didn't cry. I was over that part. But the one that broke me, I guess because Miami I was super into, Boston a little bit here and there, Miami I was into Hawaii, but it was Jesus, Las Vegas was. I didn't watch it much in Chicago or New York.
Vegas was the good one. That's when it started to turn south, though.
Yes, no,
Yes.
Vegas. I remember coming back and catching some of it in college, and it was like for real. Now it was just like put them in a house, free alcohol, have them fuck each other, and that's
Like,
all that show was.
That's so funny you say that. I was watching it. I'm like, I think this was. I'm like, distinctly remember thinking, this is when this show has a turning point. They're no longer trying to put dynamic people together.
Yeah.
They're no longer trying to put a gay guy and a sort of like Southern guy in a room together and see how they act.
Right.
They literally have figured out what the magic is.
Yeah.
And it is super good looking guys and super good looking girls having sex with each
alcohol.
other.
Because that was the thing, you saw a little bit of that in Hawaii. I remember with like because that was with Tech and Ruthie.
with Ruthie.
Yeah,
and Ruthie was like,
and
yeah,
everybody's like,
she's
"This is
lesbian.
awesome," and they were like, "We want more of that." But I mean, you look back of like how it used to be. You look at those early. I mean, San Francisco, of course, is like the definitive one, I think, right? When people think of how good
you had Puck
real
and you
world
had
was,
Pedro.
and it was like, yeah, and he was living with AIDS, and he was educating everybody about that. When he died, like President Clinton had a video that played at his thing, his memorial service, saying that now everyone in America can say they knew somebody living with AIDS, and it was like, wow. And then you jump ahead, however many years, like,
And it's just three
just
dudes
like-
from Texas banging 3 girls from
Exactly.
Texas. And you're like, well, this is good television.
yeah.
Yeah. And then the Miz is there just doing stuff. Was he Real World or was he Road Rules?
The Miz was Real World.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
He was Real World.
It's crazy.
And
Yeah.
it was really funny to watch that because he was like, I want to be a professional wrestler. And I
Yeah.
was like, dude, whatever.
Well,
He
you
would
know,
do
And he
stupid
fucking
stuff.
wrecked shop on the challenge. On all the
But you
gauntlet
remember,
stuff.
like, it wasn't that he wanted to be a professional wrestler. It was that he got wasted and then had a championship belt, and he started calling himself the Miz, and that's when it all was like, he wants to be a wrestler. But it wasn't like a legit like, I'm training for this my entire life. This is what I want to do.
He wanted that, and that was like
Was
his
he?
shtick. I can't
Maybe
remember.
I missed that part. I remember the drunk and the championship belt and him
But
mentioning
I
wrestling
think
there.
I could have swore he did it as a strategy of like, I'm going to get on any television show I can get on and pimp this persona so I can get an audition for
More power
WWE.
to him, man. He killed it.
Because then, like, literally 2 years later, he showed up. Like,
Yeah.
I guess I don't know how it worked, but I remember hearing, like, reading, like, oh my, he's actually going to be in the WWE.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
yeah.
I'm
And
gonna
he's
go,
great. He's a good dude.
I'm gonna go. I was never a huge Road Rules guy.
Yeah.
Until the Gauntlet. That's why I liked.
Oh,
the
really?
Gauntlet.
Interesting.
Because it got me into. I was like, who are? I'm like, to me, the Road Rules was this other cast of people that were doing an inferior reality show because they like had to do shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to do shit. I just want
Yeah,
to live in
yeah,
a
yeah.
cool house and like hang out and try to flirt with girls. Which is like basically has been the guiding light of my life up until this point. But then the Gauntlet, when they started doing that crossover, I was like, oh, this is cool. And they brought back other people that I liked, and it was always going to be one of those things where you're like, are they bringing back the people I like or hate? Because you had a lot, like you liked inevitably. You were like you like lived with these people for an entire season, so it was pretty cool. I don't know. And then I got into the Road Rules, and then I met Blair, and that blew my mind. I was like, these people are real.
That was
like reading
that
Blair.
was one of the first, like literally one of the first surreal experiences for me, because like I had started and they sent me to WrestleMania, and I'm pretty sure that's the same WrestleMania where we split the interview room. It was me and John Robinson for IGN.
Oh, I love J-Rob.
J-Rob splitting the room with MTV's The G Hole, and I was like, who the fuck? I just came from mainstream. I am literally a consumer still. Who are the G? And like, oh, they don't know. And they walked in and it was Blair, and I was like, and he's like, hi, I'm Blair, and I'm like, oh fuck, you're Blair from Road Rules.
Road Rules.
Holy shit, whoa! And like, I didn't tell him that. I think I told him that years and years later.
I did
but-
too. I was
Dude,
like, I totally geeked out when
This
I
is
met
all
him the
just
first
coming
time.
together in my head right now. I never realized that was that guy.
That's Blair. Yeah,
Yeah,
Blair
yeah,
Herder.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's funny. Jess
Good
makes
guy.
fun of him.
That's
sometimes.
nuts.
She thinks it's
That's
funny.
fucking nuts.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the Game Over Greggy show. Each and every week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table, each bringing a random topic of conversation for your amusement. If you like that, you can get it early at patreon.com/kindafunny each and every Friday. Just give us a few bucks. If you don't think we're worth those bucks, no big deal. Over on youtube.com/kindafunny, we break the show up topic by topic, day by day, for your amusement for absolutely no money, until we post the entire thing for free on Friday on YouTube and iTunes and SoundCloud. We're trying to make those things work. So go there and like them and subscribe and share and tag them and say stuff
Follow
and whatever the hell they have you
I
do.
don't even know.
You do that, it makes us look better. It gets us to more people. The show's more successful. Tim gets better shirts. Yeah. We like your shirts, though.
This is cool. This turned out well. I haven't seen these yet
it's a
in
good one.
person.
That's
It's a good color blue. Tim
It
gave me
does.
shit about the color blue for a while.
Well, look,
He was like, it's not
I
vibrant
still,
enough.
this looks fine.
Yeah, no, this shirt looks really
But
good.
I-
This is
I-
the first time we've ever seen. Well, this is the first time they've ever seen someone wearing this. Of course, our good friend, Mr. Pitts.
Sean Pitts.
Exactly.
Pitts.
Big
Superman.
supporter. He
Superman.
bought the shirt from kindafunny.com store and then had it shipped overnight so he could wear it to New York Comic Con. And that's why
G.
he's one of the best friends. Just like you are for watching this video. Ladies and gentlemen, we love you. We love spending time with you. It's been our pleasure to serve you. First down.